Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NeverOpenPod, the podcast open to everyone, except Riddle. My name is Luke. I'm your host of the NeverOpenPod, and with me, as always, is Mr. Guy. Say hello, Mr. Guy.
Hello, Mr. Guy. Hello, Luke. And hello to the listeners. Be you new or old, welcome to our Wrestle Kingdom Spectacular, where today we'll be talking about Wrestle Kingdom 18, as well as New Year Dash, the beginning and end of the New Japan year.
That's right. Oh, my goodness. It's another Wrestle Kingdom and New Year's Dash in the books. I'm excited to talk with you about it, Mr. Guy. I didn't love everything, but on a whole, thumbs up. It's Wrestle Kingdom. I think you'd have to try really hard to have 100% bad time, but not everything was my cup of tea, I will admit. However, let's get into some professionalism right before we get to the fireworks factory. There are ways people can contact and interact with us if they wish to. We're on the Tweety. Oh, for now, I am at Grumpy2EB. Mr. Guy is at Druciford Tweets. Collectively, we are at NeverOpenPod. And if you want to send us a written or voice email, you can do that. NeverOpenPod@gmail.com. Also, hey, you might be watching us instead of listening to us, because you can do that. Hello. And look us up on the YouTubes. Never Open Podcast. Easy. Nice and done and dusted. Also, it's a new year. You might want some new merch. So if you've got any of that Sasha Banks money, kick it our way. We have a Teespring store where you can get merch that'll make you look never as
That's true. All those things Luke said are true. And we do have a little piece of news before we get started. Our last episode was, in fact, the Noah, it's the new year, and we're having a show thing. And Ibushi was injured, and you can hear our detailed thoughts about that match and, what we thought of all that on our last episode. But he has issued a statement, and as usual, it's weird as fuck. So Ibushi's statement reads the following. It was released on Twitter. Or X. It says, I was scammed by a place called C5 Clinic, which is spread all over the country, as I mentioned before. Take care of yourself, please. I think Noah will release information about my surgery, fractures, and dislocations, etc. I'm sorry for the game, everyone. It's all my fault.
I got to respect that he took it on the chin there. So, I don't know. He didn't have to do that. He could have just been like Ibushi, but I respect that a bit. But it's also like, hey, it's all my fault. Also, it's these medical guys that everyone in the country knows. That whole franchise is just fucking shit.
You got scammed, but I got scammed too. That's like what he's saying. And I thought that was amusing. So hopefully he's okay. Also, it's interesting. He lists his injuries and includes etc. Just list of injuries.
My fractures, my breaks, and the miscellaneous ones too.
All that other stuff. But hope he's okay and everything. Luke, did you watch the Wrestle Kingdom 18 press conference?
No, it would not play on my computer for some reason. So no.
So you just gave up. I get it, man. I understand. It becomes frustrating, and Chumpy wants us all to give up. Well, I did watch it, Luke. At least most of the English stuff. I didn't watch a lot of the Japanese stuff because they did not have subtitles when I was trying to watch it. And, I do have a few notes. I thought it was entertaining. We had the classics like Naito falling asleep, classic thing that he's going to do, which is awesome. One of the first people that came out was Akira, and he came out by himself. And he said, it's kind of interesting because, I almost forgot that he didn't even tell us what he said he was going to tell us. He comes out and he's like, bobbity boop, TJP's not here. I'm going to get to why that is. But then he just goes on to explain his journey in Japan and, what KH22's, whole process has been. And it was great. And he didn't look down once. He didn't check a note. He just talked to everybody. It was like, man, this guy is really good on the mic, and they ought to let him do the mic stuff. So I was very impressed with him. War Dogs Juniors looked absolutely incredible. They looked like $1 million, and it was like, damn, best dress for sure. They were definitely dressed as some kind of like villains on Miami Vice or something like that.
Nice.
Not quite Dick Togo, but pretty close, you know. And then, probably the best thing ever was that, we had House of Torture versus Shota Umino and Kato Kiyomiya. Of course, they had their press conference, and everything's fine. They're just acting like it's a normal press conference. Get up to pose, and Evil and Ren Narita just choke out Shota Umino and Kato Kiyomiya with their own ties and just leave them land. It's pretty
That's
fun.
what you do.
Yeah.
Nice one. All right. So that is pretty cool. Oh my God, I'm so excited. We are at the Tokyo Dome for the Wrestle Kingdoms. So as usual, Mr. Guy has done his diligent research and has found some interesting reviews of the Tokyo Dome on the Googles. You want to go first, Mr. Guy?
Yeah, that's fine. I can do that today. Google reviews of the Tokyo Dome. Mine reads the following. I went to a baseball game for the first time and was seated on the second floor of the visitors' outfield. But even though I was a visitor, 80% of the people around me were from the Giants. 10% were fans who didn't care, and 10% were visitors. We're here to support the visiting team. But when the Giants score, everyone around us starts waving towels around. What is this? I will never come again. 1 star.
I'm sorry, dude. Like, I don't care where you are in the world. You go to a sports game and it's that team's home ground. That's going to happen no matter where you are in a stadium because it's their home fucking, like, what? Man, this guy's obviously never been to sports before at all.
Well, he's not going back again. He's not going again, so he'll never get another chance, But, I know like at soccer games, sometimes they have the away side and the home side so that people don't fight as much. I know that's something that's a real thing. But, at the same time, if you just walk up to the game and buy a random ticket, you're going to be sitting next to whoever bought a ticket next to you, brother. So he wanted to know what it was. He'll never go again.
Wow. That sucks. All right. Well, I have one too, Mr. Guy, and it goes like this. I can't. I almost said it goes a little something like this. I can't help it now. That's in my head from these.
It's yours now.
See, that's what happens, everyone. You take one of Andy's gimmicks, and he's just like, I don't want it anymore. Mm-hmm. It's fucking dirty. Although it is such a large dome, there is no smoking area inside. If you wish to smoke, you must obtain a re-entry ticket at a designated gate and smoke in the smoking area outside. A dome where the basic human rights of smokers are not protected. Well, I guess everyone actually smokes in the toilet. You're in an enclosed building. You smoke outside. Welcome to the 21st century. Get the fuck out there. Like, shut up.
Well, that was also a 1-star review.
That's definitely 1 star, yeah.
But I like that the guy is, claiming that the Tokyo Dome is infringing on his basic human rights because they're making him smoke in the toilet.
That's it.
That's pretty fun.
That's fucking hilarious. I love it. All right.
Luke, what was your experience like watching Wrestle Kingdom? I know a few people had some problems. I had an interesting thing where I go to New Japan World and it's like, this is not a safe site. And my computer will not go to it. And I'm like, oh, fuck. But I had 3 different ways to watch it just sitting there ready in case, What was your experience like watching Wrestle Kingdom?
Those warnings came up for me on the second night. The first night, I was telling Charity that, oh man, I haven't been able to get this press conference working on my laptop, and I'm a little worried. She's like, oh, I've got the work laptop here. We'll just hook it up to the TV. So she hooked hers up. It worked fine. Go figure. Don't know what the fuck's wrong with mine. Probably too much porn. But that's true. Mm-hmm. Laptop looking back at me and going, you pussy. But I had a. It was fine. Like there was no big equipment era match that that you'd get at a strong show. There was a couple things at times that had the buffer or the sound wasn't 100% in sync, but considering it was Wrestle Kingdom, a lot of eyes on the product, all that kind of stuff, I had a generally pretty good time watching it.
I discovered that the issue with the website is that they changed the actual website address by like one letter. And so it's New Japan World now instead of NJPW World or something like that. And so the old one is no longer available, and your computer's like, that's from another country, brother. You're fucking up. So that's why it gives you the, signal. So I fixed that. But I had like an issue where as soon like I'm sitting there waiting, right? And I was prepared. I had, like I said, I had several devices sitting there just in case, but I was using my Apple TV, and like all of a sudden there's somebody on screen, and it's like one of the sound guys, and he's going poo pee pie pee po like that. And he get a sound check with two different guys checking the headphones, and they're all just going poo pee pie poo, and it's so funny. So you didn't see that, I'm assuming. But after that happened, then it all. Are you frozen, Luke? You told us about your experience, I think, watching the show. My experience was similar. I had a couple issues that weren't really a big deal, but it was funny. I was there early to watch the show. I had all these different, devices sitting there next to me just in case, but I was watching it mainly on Apple TV. You got that, like, we didn't have a song this year for Wrestle Kingdom. I don't know if you noticed that. There was no like Wrestle Kingdom song. It was just the it was that. So I started to hear that, and they start putting the dates up, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go, Wrestle Kingdom, and that just shit the bed. And it shit the bed at 1:30. It started at 1:30 a.m. for me. It shit the bed right at 1:30. So I went on the internet, and it shit the bed for everybody, I think, right then. And eventually it worked for me. But we had one other issue later we'll talk about where it just shit the bed for everybody. But other than that, I thought it was pretty great,
Yeah. I had almost no issue troubles with it, just little things. And the little things didn't detract from anything. The sound worked out fine. The picture was fine. And, the biggest hiccup, I think, and we'll talk about it once we get into the show proper, but I think we missed a full clip in the opening match that happened right at the start. Mm-hmm. And then we get back into the match, and boom, no more problems for me for Wrestle Kingdom. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was it. Well, for some reason, the opening match didn't have English commentary either. What was the opening match, Luke? Did you enjoy watching that?
Well, let's get into it. Let's do it. That's not the opening match. The opening match was a pre-show match. Can you believe it?
Which is the opening match. So that's the
all right.
First
Let's
match
just say
we're going to talk about.
That might as well be the opening fucking match, right?
Splitting hairs on me over there.
I'm splitting all the hairs, man. I haven't got many hairs left, so I'm going to split them when I can. All right. So we do start with the Rambo. Last 4 wrestlers will compete at New Year's Dash. And guess what? It's Tiger Hattori.
Yay!
Tiger Hattori is out. He's reffing this match. Man, that's fucking good. And I remember writing to you beforehand. I'm just like, oh man, I'm looking forward to this. Please no Chase. And look who's out first. It's Chase. All right, fine. He's back. All right. I'm sure that's the only annoying turn up that'll happen over these 2 nights. So we got Chase, then we got Great O'Khan starting off the wrestling, and then Gabe Kidd comes out, and Chase is like, oh shit, yeah, this is gonna be good. You're fucked, Great O'Khan. Except Gabe Kidd's just like, fuck you. Also, I stole your car, and then beats up Chase as well. So I'm like, awesome. Then we got Alex C coming out, and yep, it's the War Dogs doing some destroying stuff, and then look, 3 Bullet Club guys and only 1 Empire guy. Oh, who's out next? Oh, it's Jeff Cobb. Cool. All right. Yep. And all right. I was like, Cool. We see Cobb suplexing fools. We see Alex suplexing Cobb. It's getting pretty fun. We got Hanare coming out, and he eliminates Kid, and I'm just like, come on, man. Chase is right there. Alex is out too. Empire War Dogs feud, please, because I think that'd be fun. Ishii's in, and he's like left alone with the Empire boys, and he's doing all that kind of stuff. We got Mikey Nichols coming in. We got Shane Haste. Oh, they came in one after the other. We got Yujiro coming out. Cobb goes out just as Wato enters, which is weird. You almost didn't see it. Kanemaru's in. Like, there's lots of stuff that happened. Just think like fun, but kind of messy in the kind of way that a Royal Rumble is, that kind of stuff. So yeah, the entrance. This is like, it's around here that I wrote in my notes and on the chat to you, Mr. Andy, that the entrance order to this is dumb and the easiest, like kind of easy order to kind of figure out. And funnily enough, you'd already tweeted the same thing on the Twitter. What was you described it a lot better than me. I fucking loved it. How would you describe the order of the participants in the Rambo?
Well, it's like when you're playing cards and it's one of those games where the cards have to go in order and nobody shuffled them. You know what I mean? So you get your hand and it's all the same suit or whatever, it's like, that's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, because just after I say that, Yo's in. I'm like, oh, it's Yo. Let me guess.
He's wearing a tracksuit too and no shoes or something. Like,
I don't
know what.
He was wearing his shoes, but then Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols took his shoes off him and started beating him up with shoes. So I was just like, I love you, TMDK. Thank you, Aussie boys, for wailing on Yo with his own shoes. So, who would come out after Yo comes out? It's Show. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They fight each other.
They do. Yo tries to Kanemaru Gambit him on the entrance ramp, and he fails.
Because he's not even in House of Torture. He's in Chaos. He can't be doing Kanemaru Gambits. Get out of here.
Yeah, we know it's Show, but yeah, come on, man. He fails though, and Show brings Yo back to the ring. Then we get Fujita Hayata Jr. coming out. So there's a nice surprise entrant right there, which is pretty damn cool.
It's also Hayato, not Hayata. Because and there's actually like another Hayata. There's like Rising Hayata, then Hayato, and then another one. This was Hayato, who I believe we saw. I believe it was the guy that wrestled Master Huato in the main event of that juniors were having a party in the juniors with her.
Oh yeah, Junior Festival, I remember, yeah. All right, so it's Hayata. So I apologize, everyone.
It's Hayato.
Hayato. Oh, fucking hell.
Very important.
Let's call the whole thing off.
We can't move on until we get it.
No.
Right.
So Hayato. There we go. He's over with me immediately because Sho and Yo kind of laying around on the ramp. They haven't gone back in the ring yet. And he could have kicked anyone, but he decides to kick Yo on his way in. So I'm like, yeah. We get to see Ishimori and some Doki. We get to see Sho just crotching the shit out of Yo for ages and ages and ages. And, look, Yo's peed himself. Doki and Hayato go out at the same time. There's like, Yano comes out and everyone just like looks over at him. It's just like, all right, come on. See, this spot didn't go far enough for me because maybe they'll rectify it next year because Yano is coming down and he's taking his time and everyone knows, all right, we're looking at you. Everyone's in the ring. We're looking at you. Come in. I would, maybe next year they'll do it differently and they'll be like, all right, Yano, come in. No, he's not coming in. So they all leave and grab him and force him in and then like quadruple stack him or something just to get the little cheating asshole out.
Fold him in half. Like fold him in half, stack him on himself, Busharuni pin. I thought it was interesting because I thought that we didn't know how many people would be in this too. That's another fun thing about this match. And so we didn't know. I figure Yano, he must be the last guy. I'm thinking, where's Taichi? That's what I was very upset as soon as I saw Yano because I was like, where is Taichi? And why isn't he on Wrestle Kingdom? But I was
You would have
upset for no reason. So.
you would have had that Daniel Bryan's not in the Royal Rumble moment from however many years ago that was.
Yeah, I'll boo
like
Rey
that.
Mysterio.
Yeah, fuck you, Ray. It's not my fault, man. I didn't book this. Fuck you, dog.
Booyaka! Kiss my ass.
Booyaka, booyaka. Fuck you, we want Brian. Anyway, look, they're going to make us wait for Taichi because we're going to get a little teeny tiny surprise first. No, it's a big surprise, at least for me. Izuka comes out.
You see the announcer. Like, he always attacks the announcers, right? And so they had a camera guy right on the announcer, and he's like, he's looking over and he's like, fuck, trying to get ready to run, but he also knows he has the responsibility to do announcing, and he's torn.
That's right.
So
because
good.
Iska will kill you, but you also paid to sit in that fucking chair and you're not allowed to move. So what do you do? What do you do? Man, it is awesome. Dude, how fucking awesome does Iska look as well? Did he retire like 3 years ago or yesterday? Holy shit.
He's a little smaller, but he's still in great shape. He tried to join House of Torture there for a second. I mean, he'd be a perfect fit for House of Torture. Don't you think? He'd be like, Dick Togo, get the chain, like Desperado used to do, and here comes
I think I got excited too because I'm like, oh my god, there's going to be some claw shit, isn't there? And here he is. It's Taichi. He has the claw, which is weird. I thought Iska he ended it back, but it doesn't matter. So now my brain's thinking like, oh, is there going to be some claw stuff, and it makes him get eliminated, maybe, but he does hand the claw to Izuka, and he hits Yujiro and Kanemaru with them, so that's pretty fucking cool. Izuka does cause himself and Taichi though to be eliminated because Izuka's like, it's not Suzuki-gun anymore. I'm not teaming up with you. Like, no one can control me.
They're like, Taichi's like, hey, let's be cool, bro. And Iska's like, no, I'm going to bite you now. And it takes everyone else while that's going on to eliminate both those guys. So they come off very strong. Got to keep Iska strong.
You got to keep Iska strong. And all right, you also got to eliminate Taichi in a way that isn't going to make Mr. Guy go fuck yourself, Wrestle Kingdom, I'm out. So I think your vibe from this was like, all right, Taichi's got his Kapow title for 2023. Time to move him up, and I agree.
He got the Wrestle Kingdom 18 payday too, so we're good.
That's right.
We're good.
Great Khan it does more to make me love him by throwing Chase Owens out, and I was like, oh, thank God for that. And we've got a different. I mean, yes, sure, Yano's there, but wow, I really like the last four. I mean, yeah, Yo's there, but it's different. The last four that will fight on the next night are the Great Khan, Yo, Toru Yano, and the freaking Bone Soldier Taiji Ishimori. That's really cool. After the match, Taichi attacks Izuka, probably because he's like, you motherfucker.
Hey, man. Izuka attacks the announcer too, which is really funny because he's been waiting to do that, But yeah, Luke, that was the pre-show match. And then the show, we had like a little tiny break, but then the show proper started. We had Chris Charlton, Walker, Texas Stewart, and a very tired Rocky Romero on the call. Rocky didn't say much. He didn't have much to say. But how do you think commentary did overall, Luke? What did you think of English commentary?
It was fine. I mean, Rocky does make me chuckle on the next night when he calls a spin cycle a washing machine, and he forgets the word for suplex. There we go. So yeah, he's very tired. The man does a lot of travel. It's fine. I found Walker was fine. It's his first Wrestle Kingdom, but I found he's a little repetitive at times. Like he might say a point early in the match and then bring the point back up a few minutes later. I'm like, yeah, you said that. Everyone's moved on to a different thing to talk about, but I feel like maybe it's a thing for him. He's like, he doesn't want too much dead air. He needs to fill the space somehow, and he's just got this whole bunch of things that that he says. I don't know. I feel like it's all stuff that will improve and be ironed out. He's in his early 20s. The sky's the fucking limits. That's fine. Chris, Chris was really excited to be there, and I thought he might spontaneously combust as he was doing the commentary.
He really likes the British guys. Like, take it easy. It's like you're not supposed to cheer from from the press booth, but he's doing it. So
yeah, absolutely. So, what about you? Like, were you all right with commentary? Was it driving you nuts? Like, how were you with it?
I mean, as someone who hates all commentary,
Yeah,
just
true.
first of all, I hate it all. So it's not, unless you're Gino, and then I love you. Everybody else can fuck off. I was not annoyed by it other than a few times. And those times that I'd be annoyed by it was when something amazing is happening. Say it's an entrance of a wrestler about to go to a big match, and we want to hear the crowd and we want to feel the moment. And someone's just yelling, ha, 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 just screaming about some historical thing that's going on, and just like saying way too many words all in like this little time period where there should be no words. But other than that, I was not annoyed really at any time except for repetition and then talking during amazing moments when it's like, shut the fuck up. I don't care if somebody's like cousin was their roommate during training at All Japan or whatever the fuck, like that's always what it seems like some of these historical things are. And it's like, that's fun to know that stuff. And yeah, it's important, but sometimes maybe you could talk about that during the match and not scream it all at the beginning while we're trying to watch a cool entrance. But this match we're about to talk about, Luke, was the opening match, opening
the real opening
match, which is IWGP Juniors Tag Title match, and it was Catch 2-2, TJP and Akira versus the War Dogs, Dan Baloney and Clark Connors. And so remember we talked about Akira. He was at the press conference by himself. He's like, "Oh, TJP, I'll tell you all about it," and then doesn't tell us about it. Well, the casket. Remember, TJP lost the casket match by getting locked in it, and we hadn't seen him since. So, he's in the casket. And I mean, listen, I'm not trying to shit on this gimmick because we did have some technical difficulties during this. So I didn't quite see it all, but at the same time, I don't know that this was like something I was real like fired up about, because what happens is War Dogs come out, TJP and Akira come out, but no, there's no TJP. It's just the casket. And so Akira opens the casket, and here we are. TJP is resurrected out of the coffin as this different gimmick, the Aswana, which is a creature from Filipino culture, which I like that. That's cool. But the feed craps out here briefly, and everyone who was watching New Japan suddenly had a frozen image of TJP in this mask on their screen, which kind of goofed the whole thing. So regardless of how serious and cool it would have been, it could have been that goofed it all up. So what'd you think of the Aswana gimmick, Luke?
I was like, oh wow, it's Scarecrow cosplay, sweet. I like him. He's one of my favorite Batman villains. I like it's probably a lot better that it's some kind of Filipino folklore thing. That's pretty cool. It's like think Scarecrow, think the Fiend mask, that kind of thing, that kind of vibe, and you've got what TJP came out with. But unfortunately, his cool entrance, and it sucks for him because he went to all the trouble to do it, and it might have worked or whatever if we had seen it properly, but we didn't, and we don't, and
we missed.
Like,
we missed.
He finally tries some character stuff, doesn't he? And he finally tries it, and it's like it didn't work, and it wasn't his fault. It wasn't because like he cut a lame promo or nothing like that. He did everything right this time. The equipment, he lost the equipment somehow. He must have tripped over a cord, and the cord was pissed off with him. It's like, oh fuck you.
But this is all shoehorned in. That's the problem with it. It's not the equipment. The problem with it is that it's shoehorned in. It's not, it's like all of a sudden we have caskets we're bringing to matches, and we're doing casket matches right before Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
That all felt very shoehorned in, and so does this gimmick. So that's my reason why it doesn't work for me. The other problem is we missed the beginning of the match where the monster is taken out by Bullet Club. when I rejoined the match, Bullet Club were beating the shit out of Akira, who, by the way, must have used Finn Balor's like body paint guy. He had these cool green flames all over him, which was super dope. I mean, he looked awesome. It just didn't match his partner. Maybe TJP needs to like tag with Great O'Khan when he's going to do that gimmick. That would make a lot more sense. But because it's kind of the same gimmick. But we rejoin the match. Bullet Club's beating down Akira, and Drill is bleeding from the mouth. And apparently we missed a full clip to the floor on the Monster, because I'm like, where the fuck's the Monster? Like, why isn't the Monster beating these guys up? We didn't see any of that. Maybe the Monster did all kinds of cool shit right before it went to shit, as far as the feed goes. We don't know. And I didn't go back and watch it. So,
no, me neither. We'll never know.
And we also have a big issue in this match too, is that we got this guy, I don't want to call him a little guy, but he is sneaking in to these matches like it's no big deal. Referee Chumpy Jr. is on Wrestle Kingdom and New Year Dash. Like, no big deal. Not here trying to steal anybody's job or anything. He is. And Chumpy Sr. is not okay with it. But, we'll see how he handles it later. But TJP... At this point, the other thing we had missed is that Bullet Club had taken the dog collars. Remember that other shoehorned in gimmick? And they had used that to chain the Monster to a guardrail. That's why we don't see the Monster. So we're like, and I'm thinking, where the fuck is he? And then all of a sudden the Monster, he escapes mysteriously and he gets in. And it's like, oh, cool. What's this Monster going to do? He does TJP moves. And while he's doing 2JP moves, which is the normal moves, you got commentary going, how can you kill what's already dead? Just overselling it. And it's like, guys, let's everybody just take it easy. So TJP, he gets a miss spot on Dan Baloney, and then they hit total elimination, and TJP pins Dan Baloney, new champions. Will we get more new champions? And what did you think of the junior title match, Luke, and Dan Baloney getting pinned by a Monster?
All right. I like this match. I even like that Catch 2-2 won. But by the time this match happens, and it's not a good thing to think, but by the time this match happens, I feel like they've done everything. You know what I mean? And that's not a good thought to have before they have a match on the biggest show of the year. So I thought this was good, but it didn't have quite the stakes and feel of previous matches. So I don't know. And the finish felt like a very sudden win out of nowhere, Noah style finish. So I'm like, I'm happy you won, because I was kind of going for you guys, Catch 2-2, because I love you guys, especially Kira. But I don't know. The finish was a little flat. It was fine though. It was fine.
Did the grumpiness you were feeling at that moment carry into this next match at all, Luke?
I don't think it was a matter of it carrying. I feel like it was a matter of it kind of. I'm like, I'm really like. It's not like when I used to watch a WWE show, right? I used to watch it and have the same review of every match. Cool match, shit finish. Cool match, shit finish. And I don't expect that for New Japan. So I watched the first match and I'm like, Catch 2-2 War Juniors. All right, it was cool. Not my favorite of theirs, but it's fine. Finish was a bit lame, but hey, Zack Sabre Jr. Tanahashi for the TV title. Man, this is going to have a fucking awesome finish and be incredible. I like the match. It is really good. All right, so let's get into it. It is Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tanahashi, the president. We've got to mention that every sentence now. President Tanahashi.
He's the president?
Ace Force One.
Wait, I didn't vote for him. Wait, what other jokes are there? Here comes the chief. I'm trying to think of like every joke that you see on Twitter every time. By the way, Twitter, I don't usually talk shit about Twitter, but Twitter during Wrestle Kingdom, brain dead. Brain dead. That is the comments. Like, I tweeted a little bit during Wrestle Kingdom, and I would tweet an observation, and the responses were just fucking brain dead. think I'm done.
So yeah,
with
follow
wrestling
us on
Twitters.
at NeverOpenPod, everybody,
Terrible.
because we're fucking judging you. You
Terrible.
write to us, we're just like, what a fucking moron. We won't block you though, because we want listeners. But yeah, but all right. So this match feels weird to me because Tanahashi already has a title. So,
but it's a stank
there
belt.
is that. I know it's the stank belt, but now he's the president, and now he's going for like another title when he's got one. I'm like, I know it's probably no major bullshit. I don't see Tanahashi as being this kind of selfish dude. I've never felt that. Like, for God's sakes, he jobbed out to fucking Chase Owens in the G1. No one can say that this is a selfish motherfucker right here.
Yes.
But for me, just looking at it, I'm just like, oh, you're the president, and this year-long run is going to be ended by the dude pretty much in charge of the company. What are you, Inoki? This is great. I love the mat wrestling between these two. Zack Sabre Jr. is really good at twisting out of Tanahashi's stuff, and Tanahashi, as deep a well as Zack Sabre Jr. has at like twisting people up, Tanahashi is just always tenacious and always kind of able to maneuver himself somehow. There's some really awesome spots. I like seeing Zack Sabre Jr. get out of that dragon screw and just hit his neck crank instead. Heaps of shit like that. There's a great standing high fly flow followed by a high fly flow knees up spot, which looked kind of ouch. So yeah, that happened. And then there's a pinning battle, and I'm like, all right, so yeah, okay, cool. And I don't know, I know this is the way Tanahashi wins a lot of the times, but this felt like a very Hiromu kind of win, not instead of a Tanahashi kind of win, because this is what Hiromu does, like roll battles, then pin. So, I don't know, I just felt like maybe they'd get another minute after that, and it would. Yeah, I also wish Zack Sabre Jr. would have won as well, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't ready for that run to kind of end yet, and I kind of wish someone like Cobb had been the guy to do it if he had a loss. So, look, complaints about the match? None, really. Ending wasn't 100% rock solid for me, but it was fine. It wasn't my favorite 15-minute TV title match, but it was still good. What do you think?
Well, it was like under 10 minutes, I think. It was
Yeah.
pretty short. It did seem to end like at a time when you weren't expecting it to end, but there was some really cool shit in this match. I really enjoyed, especially the first half of it. It was really good. But I want to talk about Zack Sabre Jr.'s title run because, yeah, he won a bunch of matches, but what did he do along the way? Like, that's the thing that, like, okay, so what kind of stuff did he do along the way? We've seen all the help he's given Fujita. That's one thing that he's done through this title shot. Giving other people title shots. He put Mike Bailey over huge and a lot. Obviously Zack Sabre Jr. won that match, but he put him over huge. Same thing with everyone he faced. So there was a lot of young guys that got awesome chances, including Shota Umino, who, that match made him for me. And so
Agreed.
He beat Ishii, he beat several other people along the way at Cobb, twice, and and once or maybe once, and one was a time limit draw or something like that. That was last year, but it's like one of those things where I felt like that. In New Japan, sometimes the man makes the title, right? And so that was the example of that. That was a tremendous example. Not only did he make the title, but he made all these other stars along the way that now have that part of their story that's this title run. If anyone's going to take this off of him, it would be someone big like Tanahashi or someone young coming up. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. After the match, Tanahashi gets on the mic and what does he say? I'm not sure. Broken Arm Young Lion like helps him put the belt on, and he gets the mic and he's just kind of like talking about. I didn't write down what he said, so sorry I brought it up.
Stay here for. I just wrote Tana cuts a presidential promo. That's all I got.
Okay, so it must have been a bunch of word salad and bullshit. You know, that's what the presidents say. So, well, next, Luke. Oh, by the way, Maya Iwatani was on commentary for that last match, and not on the card though. And I think we talked about it on our last episode or the episode before, but this is the first time in a while that there hasn't been a Stardom presence on, Wrestle Kingdom. There's,
Yeah.
I mean, even that. Remember that one? Like there was a Tokyo Dome show that wasn't Wrestle Kingdom. Remember that? And it was like they had all the lights on and shit. And even when they did that show, Stardom had like a tag match on it. So that's a shame. But maybe that
Wait a
means
minute. Don't the women have 2 New Japan titles to wrestle for and over?
Yeah. Well, one of those women is signed with WWE or something, according to the
Really?
dirt sheets. Yeah, Julia, isn't she one of them champions?
Really?
So she's pretty much gone. And we'll talk about more people gone, some good, some bad, as we go along. But next, look, we have a special.
This is mine. You just. Oh no, it's yours. Aww.
The next match is a special singles match. It's Yuya Uemura versus Yota Tsuji, and these two have had a tremendous feud. I believe that their styles just go together like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, it's a heat storm versus a Gene Blast. I don't know which is worse. I think I'll go with the heat. You know what I mean? Because like the Gene Blast seems like that would be like really messy to clean up, whereas the heat storm, I think it cleans itself up.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what I think. So Tsuji has American football inspired gear, by the way, which is kind of cool because he does the footballs. And these two wrestle, and it's good, normal stuff. Everything's going fine until Tsuji hits a spear while they're running the ropes and hits his huge Canadian dive, which is awesome. Electric chair drop from Tsuji, which I love that move. It's such a safe, easy looking move, and it's so cool, you know. Anyway, they wrestle, like I said before. There's heat on Yuya, and he fights back valiantly. He seems to be the better wrestler, though. It's just Tsuji's like a bigger bully. You know, that's kind of what we see here. It's pretty neat. It's like Yuya's more skilled, but Tsuji's bigger and just bullies the smaller guy. So they get into a nice, back and forth rhythm, comeback, cutoffs, all that stuff. And their styles work really well together, like I said. Big arm drag to counter the spear. And that sends us into a bunch of New Japan reversal sequences, and it's really good. These guys are doing the traditional stuff very, very well. Bridging dragon suplex for 2, and Yuya is fired up. He hits a bridging double arm suplex, and Uemura wins the match. And it feels like an abrupt finish that kind of came like, oh, okay. But the match was tremendous. I thought it was really good.
That's the thing. Like, what are these abrupt finishes? Like, I'm not. When I was watching this, I was like, oh, you won. I was kind of going for Tsuji, mostly like because he's awesome, and like my wife's right there. And if it's Ishimori and now Yota Tsuji, she's just like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? And then my wife got to watch him lose at the Tokyo Dome. So I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch. But having said that, like just thinking back on it, even not long after the match had happened, I was just like, wait. Yota Tsuji's fully formed. I feel like they can pull the trigger on him whenever they fucking see fit. Just pick a title, put him in the mix. We're good. Yuya and Ren, and they've taken steps, I guess, to rectify this, but they needed something different, a different group or a big win, something like that. Yuya winning at the Dome, he needed some kind of rub like this to kind of, I don't know, give him a bit of a push.
The loss doesn't hurt Tsuji at all.
No.
And it helps Yuya. So it's the right booking,
Absolutely. So, yeah, I agree. And speaking of another match that has perfect booking. All right. So, look, I like Catch 2-2 War Juniors just fine. Finish was sudden. It annoyed me. Tanahashi, Zack Sabre Jr. I liked it. The ending was not to my taste, but it's fine. Tsuji and Yuya, awesome match. Stop with these sudden things. Like you're annoying me here. But all right, so I think Andy could feel some of my annoyance shining through on the chat, but wasn't. I didn't feel as bad as you think I might have felt. But anyway, we got Kato Kiyomiya and Shooter Umino. Ooh, Noah and New Japan teaming up once again to take on Ren Narita and Evil. Evil's at the Dome. Yeah. All right. So Shooter arrives on his dad's motorbike.
Yeah, it's not like a cool motorcycle, right? It's not a chopper, it's not a Harley. It's like that motorcycle that like an old like white person in the United States would be driving on a Sunday and wave to you going too slow in the left lane. You know, that's it's a sensible bike.
Looks like the kind of bike that fucking post people use. You know, the post office people.
Oh yeah.
Little bikes that just go on the footpath.
Yeah. I agree. And you know, I don't know that there's anything rough or neck about
it. Especially when the bike's all white and he's wearing all white. I'm just like, I'm a roughneck. Really? Might want to change the color scheme, but oh my god. I bet you Watto bought one. Fuck it up.
It's blue though.
All right, so I don't know what to exactly call this, but at some point in the match, Shooter Umino does what looks like a reverse kind of heat seeker on the outside, on the apron onto Ren, which looked fucking awesome. And I think I'm kind of growing into Ren Narita in the House of Torture. I feel like it's perked him up a bit. He doesn't have to be, you know, Katsuyori Shibata 2. Now, I feel like he's got plenty of time after he's done this House of Torture stint to turn face again and nail down this kind of strong style role. In the meantime, I feel like this has given him a little extra something that he's kind of needed, and that what you and I have been talking about. So I feel like he didn't take to it as quick as say Sho did, who was just like balls deep all in straight away with this House of Torture stuff. Kanemaru, that son of a bitch. He fits in like he's like the Lego spot that they needed. He's the perfectly placed one. He's probably the load bearing Lego or whatever. But you know, so yeah, so I really like Ren in this. Their best friend story might during that whole tag league thing might not have worked for me as much as it did with Suzuki, Nagata, and Wado Despi. But the post stuff with House of Torture Ren versus Shooter, now I'm into it because everyone hates House of Torture, so you got that extra. Yeah. Anyway, I really like this, but there is an everything is Kiyomiya, by the way, on Evil. And I was like, yeah, all right, that was pretty cool. But then there isn't everything is evil on Kiyomiya. House of Torture kind of overcomes and outwits the faces pretty damn smoothly. They didn't really need too much of the outside interference so much. It was just like Ren and Evil kind of have this handled in a way. So yeah, then even better. Like you think maybe Kiyomiya might take the loss here because he's the Noah dude, but no. Diva Buster and Ren pins Shooter. Hey, this is a place where a lot of stories come to end, but some need to keep going, and I'm glad this one is.
You know what they're calling you're dealing with the X Factor now. They're calling it the double cross.
I like it. All right.
Not bad. I don't think we've talked about it yet, but Ren has a weapon of choice now, too. He has this like
push-up bar.
Yeah, so it's like this bar that you use to exercise. I have several of them laying right here that I use.
Me too. Can you tell?
Of course, I have so many I can't pick them up to show you.
That's right.
But and you can tell, obviously from you can tell just by looking at me I use those. But anyway, that's his weapon of choice, which is from the dojo. It's something that they use, quite a bit. So it makes a lot of sense that he would use that. And so that's fun that we've been seeing that getting involved a little bit. I thought that there were parts in this match where it was Ren Narita versus Shota Umino that they were wrestling at a Wrestle Kingdom level. Like it was like there was a part where they literally did like 15 reversals that ended in a German suplex. It was like, and then another bridging suplex. And I was like, do that. I want that, So
that's my shit.
This match kind of gave us a little bit of some of that. There was some really fun stuff where like Dick Togo just joined commentary for no reason. He's like, oh, this is open seats for me. And he sits down. I thought that was funny. Kanemaru rung the bell. That's now his gimmick now. He's taken that from Dick Togo. He rang the bell, got booed. There was a lot of outside interference, although you didn't see it because your monitor goes out, I know. So,
that's right.
Super karate chop to Kiyomiya's dick at Wrestle Kingdom. Like Keno is gonna beat his ass when he gets back to No.
Dick Togo.
You did that to him?
Dick Togo has gotten that move over because they keep doing it because the crowd is like boo, then he does it and they're like yay for some reason.
It's pretty funny.
He gets paid to literally jump off the middle rope and karate dick punch someone. What a job. Give me that job. I want that job.
Pro wrestling is an interesting thing, man. And Luke, we have one of your favorite wrestlers join commentary at this point, Togi Makabe. What's he sound like? That's all I could hear, But and that is for our Never title match. And I guess he's there because he was the Never champion one time, and he must have some insights. So
I don't think he was ever Never champion.
Yeah, he was. So he beat like Ishii for it, or maybe he's the one that beat Yujiro for it. Because remember, Yujiro beat Ishii for it, and then they were all together. But anyway, this match it's Tama Tonga versus the champion Shingo. And this match has a weird thing about it, which we'll get into. But let's talk about the match first. So, okay, this is a Never style match, but it's missing one part. All right, it's missing the like 3/4 shoot strikes part. Right? They don't do that part. Everything else they do. So like they do the superplexes, they do the, all the fast action and the shoulder tackles and the dodges and all that kind of stuff that you're used to seeing from this kind of match. They just don't do the striking part, which kind of sucks. So, because it's just kind of like, that's part of it, but it's not Tama Tonga style. So fast start right out of the gate. They start suplexing each other. And one of them is really scary, where like Shingo almost dies, but the match doesn't slow down for quite a while. They get, to a double down type spot and go right back into fast action. Tama gets caught on the top rope up and trying to do an up and over, right? And the ropes, and it's a clear shout out to Ibushi, which I appreciate from Tama Tonga doing that. You got to shout out the best. So anyway, no selling that joke. You'll get it on the re-listen. So big dive from Shingo. And they slow down a little bit here. Big suplex, and Shingo says it's his time is coming. Ska, ska, ska. Big moves and strikes. Shingo stops a supreme flow and gets the superplex that Rocky describes as having extra stank. Which I was shocked and appalled. He must be a listener. And, then they build back up to it. Tama gets supreme flow for 2. They do all the fast reversals. It's not perfect, but it's really tremendous. And like I said, they're doing the Never match, but just don't have the 3/4 shoot like strikes part. Tama is late feeding for a lariat, and Shingo wants to go like faster than Tama, which is probably rare for Tama. You know what I mean? Usually he's probably going faster than most people, but not in this case. Like Shingo's waiting for him. There's a homie driver. It's countered into a stun gun. It looks so cool. And that's what this match is. Just really good reversal sequences over and over and over again. It's very, very good. Gun stun, pumping bomber from Shingo. Shingo's hitting his own gun stun. Made in Japan for 2. But, and they got me right there, man. They got me. I thought for sure that was the end. And then the sequences get more and more intense. There's a Bloody Sunday, Styles Clash, and a gun stun from Tama. But Shingo kicks out because those moves don't work. So anyway, then he hits the J Driller and he wins. And I'm thinking, well, maybe Tama will now learn that he should leave the Bullet Club shit in the past because it doesn't fucking work. It didn't get the pin. The J Driller did, which he calls something else. Let's move on from the Bullet Club stuff. And, maybe big future for him. We'll talk about his future in New Japan, right, Luke?
Why are you doing moves based on people who fucking betrayed you? What are you doing?
And they're not in the ring. Shingo doesn't do the Styles Clash. He wasn't in Bullet Club.
I like this match. It is a good match. I was so excited that Shingo was the Never champion because, all right, back on track. Boom, let's go. And now we're for the fourth time? Fourth time. The other 3 times didn't fucking work. Now you put it on him for a 4th time. What's going to be different this time? Let's find out. Oh, he's gone in a fucking month.
So,
bitch, are you for real?
Tama Tonga announced after the show or in his post comments or whatever that he is wrapping up everything with New Japan and he'll be gone and wrestling in America in a month. Like, cool, bro. Fuck you. Why? Why would they put the title on him if he's just leaving? I don't understand.
I don't either. I didn't want it before I found out that he was leaving. And then I find out not long after he's leaving, and I'm just like, steam. Steam. I'm going to blow up harder than Chris Charlton. Ah!
Can you believe that he's leaving right now instead of leaving at a different time?
And it's no secret. It's my favorite fucking belt. And it just... Then they do stuff on the next night as if to go, hey, maybe this direction might cheer you up, Luke. No! We've done that too. We've done it. All right, we'll get to that. It's fine. I'm mad at Tama, and he can just go fuck off to wherever he wants to go. What I do hope it isn't like, oh, you just retired from wrestling in Japan, but you'll still do dates for us in America. So here's this Never title to take to American shows.
No.
And if they do that, I am going to be apoplectic.
I think that
realistically so.
I think that when New Japan wrestlers talk about wrestling in America, they mean WWE or AEW. Otherwise, they would say strong, right? You know what I mean? They'd say strong. So he didn't say strong. It's kind of like back in the day, if you were a territory person and you got signed by WWF, you'd say, "Well, going to work for New York." You know what I mean? It's like go to work for Memphis. That's Jerry Lawler. So it's kind of one of those regional things. That's what they say. The words that they mean.
Also, Makabe's a 2-time Never Open champion, by the way. I had a quick squeeze. That does not hurt me as much as Tama Tonga now being a 4-time champ whose defenses are, like, he's barely had any defenses on any of his reigns.
Carl Anderson. He beat that Carl Anderson guy.
His first time he had the title, 0 defenses. His second time, 1 defense. His third time, also 0 defenses. And I'm just like, well...
Yeah, I don't understand why you would put a belt on a wrestler that's leaving your company that isn't some huge name. Like if let's just say out of nowhere, MJF shows up at in New Japan, and he's only going to be there a little while. Yeah, put a title on him. Great, that's going to help the title. That's going to help him. That's great. Tama Tonga, he's not that big of a name. I don't really understand this move, but at the same time, the match was fantastic. Yeah. I thought it's just another tremendous performance at Wrestle Kingdom from Shingo. And he is one of those guys that absolutely New Japan could count on for tremendous matches anytime they want to do it. But Luke, will New Japan be able to also count on Dolph Ziggler and his brother for good matches?
I saw them and I'm just like, why? Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just the way they booked him for years or his old stupid name or something like that. But I never really watched Dolph and thought, he's a fucking Japanese not never style. He's a fucking guy who would go to New Japan crush. I hope to be proven wrong. He's a good competitor.
I disagree with you 100%. Like, I've always looked at him and been like, that guy would fucking crush it in Japan. He's like the most unselfish wrestler ever. All he does is bump. He has a super kick, does a super kick, and the fucking mid card. That's it. Like the zigzag. That's it. Like he doesn't have any moves because all of his moves are him taking bumps. And I think that he'll be tremendous. But him and his brother do show up ringside to watch the next match, Luke.
Yes, they do. And our next match. Well, really, it was this one. Okay, because the next match I got is Fisherman versus ELP and Hikuleo. All right, they watch a few matches. Okay, cool. All right, I got it in my head now. It's all right. So yes, it is Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi versus El Phantasmo and Hikuleo. Here we go, Mr. Guy, because I'm going to surprise you with my first note here. Good match. I even liked the finish.
Wow. Shocking.
But having said that, I think I liked the Tag League final a little more. I feel like that match had maybe a little bit more oomph to it that I liked. But one thing I do appreciate, and it had more time. That's probably another reason why. And LP's a fucking maniac. But what I appreciate about this match is there's little traces of them doing callbacks from that previous match, and then they just go in a completely different direction. These four guys just do different shit or in a different order, and it's really fresh. So if you're going to do your third match in a row in a very short time, it is so nice that you got it. It might be the ELP factor because you know what he's like. He's going to make it look different every single fucking time. So might be part of that because this is another in a series of rematches that have happened a few times lately. So I don't know. It was like a little shades of Katsutu War Juniors here. So, but you know, what?
I'm saying that's fair. You know, we have seen those matches a lot.
Yeah.
In this case, we didn't have like, you know, a casket match. We'd have gimmick matches leading up to their championship.
So, no,
a little different, but
but I feel like maybe the last match was just a little bit better at keeping me in suspense as to who would win. And that's probably why I give it the edge. Having said that, this match is a really fucking good time. And hey, you get to see my boy, my bro, my podcast partner gets to see Team Fisherman lose at Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah. He probably lost his shit and marked the fuck out. I'm happy to, because I remember a time where El Phantasmo would never get any belts for anything. Or maybe the junior tag titles a couple of times, but like,
yeah.
Now his transition
to heavyweight was weird. And like, because remember, he just showed up in the G1 and lost like all his matches, and it was like, oh, you won like every match when you were a junior. You know what I mean? And even the matches he didn't win, it was like a three-way, and he didn't get pinned, you know? So like he was protected big time. He won the Best of Super Juniors, like was it Super Junior fucking cup thing that they had in America? Remember that? So like he was always like, they had big plans for him, but his heavyweight transition was weird. And so I agree with you that it's nice to see him finally getting, you know, some accolades there. I thought this match was awesome, Luke. Awesome. Yeah. It's so good. They do something that I will always, like, whenever it happens, I'm going to talk about it again on the same night. Whenever you have a multi-man match and you make like every effort to have everyone involved, as many people as involved as at all times. I mean, this match had 3 people involved at least, and I'd say 90% of the action, which is, that ain't easy. Ask wrestlers. There's a reason why they dump a guy out in a triple threat. You know, it's because it's a lot harder to wrestle with 3 dudes, but it's definitely possible, and these guys proved it. There were so many 4-man, 3-man moves in this match that it was so complicated. I'm very proud of Yoshihashi for keeping up. You know, I know Goto was there to help him. ELP was whispering in his voice. Kenta Sato was whispering in his ear going, here's the next spot. But he did a very good job. He was where he was supposed to be. And I don't know. I love this match.
That was only awesome. 10-minute match too. And
really?
I'm pretty sure I saw everything and the kitchen sink in this. So, yeah. That's really true. Fucking good stuff.
I liked it a lot. Well, next, Luke, we had the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match. Now, I believe this is a match where maybe a little grumpiness from this last match like bled over, because Like, I didn't see anybody talking about how awesome this was. And this match was tremendous. It was so good. It was like a Never match, but junior style. That's what it was. It was outstanding. So Desperado, he comes out and he's got this strong style shirt that's all glittery, which is, Watto, of course, is backstage crying because he's not wearing the Watto shirt. But Desperado is who he's going to be. He's his own man, Watto. And he has a red and gold mask. I thought that was funny. I'm sorry that you don't, but big dive from Desperado during Hiromu's crazy entrance. So Hiromu has the octopus doohickey with all the weird shit. It looks like the Eye of the Beholder from, which is ironic because wouldn't the Eye of the Beholder look like whatever you think it's going to look like? But anyway, that creature from Dungeons and Dragons, that's what it looks like, but with a bunch of little eyes. And so he walks out with that, and man, I was like immediately getting vibes of the time that Hiromu just absolutely smushed Kushida, because it started that same way where Kushida's getting his big entrance and Hiromu just jumps off the top rope and fucking crushes him. And that's what happened here. Desperado hits the big dive right during Hiromu's entrance, which is so cool. So we finally get what we get every year. And I don't know what that means, but so Hiromu starts throwing Desperado to the outside. All right. This is what I meant. Okay, this makes sense now. Every year this happens at Wrestle Kingdom. So the way that they build the ring area at Wrestle Kingdom is it's elevated a little bit. So like there's the ring, there is the apron, and then there's the floor, and then there's the actual floor, right? So every year somebody gets thrown off, out of the ring and goes tumbling over the guardrails and then onto the floor and then onto the other floor. Desperado did that twice here at the very beginning. That was really fun. It made me laugh. So anyway, so he takes the nasty bumps over the, onto the guardrails and down the steps and all that stuff. So this match is tremendous, though. Like I said, similar to the Never title match, but it's just like all go, go, go. They don't stop at all. There is no way to call all of these moves because they do all the moves, and most of them are like power moves and just big strikes and stuff. So
spine busters, power bombs, suplexes. These are juniors.
Lots of power moves. No, yeah.
Not even that much fuck your leg. It's just like, I'm going to it's like watching, it's almost like watching an old Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero WCW match.
Yeah, right? It has feelings like that. Now, there is fuck your leg here because, of course, Desperado's going to get that in, right? Because he's got to do the numero dos. So there is an awesome numero dos spot where Ref Chumpy, who is now in the ring, by the way, he looks Hiromu right in the face, and he looks at him, and he goes, "Give up!" like that. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So that was unbelievable. Hiromu,
we're going to Wrestle Kingdom. Give up!
Hiromu goes for the Super Rana, and Desperado turns that into a huge backdrop suplex off the top. Now it's big strikes time. Desperado lands forearm after forearm, like winding up each time. He's not doing that. He's like winding up. Boom. It's tremendous. I love it. Hiromu dodges the straight right, though, and fires up after super kicks and a lariat, Olympic slam, Pinche Loco from Desperado for 2. Crowd's on fire. Hiromu almost wins with the trapping pin, but straight right, Pinche Loco driver, followed by another Pinche Loco. Desperado wins with an exclamation point. All right. He doesn't win like, just barely got it. No, he beat Hiromu, and he beat him clean, and he beat him convincingly. Tremendous match. I really enjoyed that.
With the Hiromu match, I'm not going to believe he's losing until the other guy's already holding up the title with his arms raised, because it's Hiromu, and he's a cheeky bugger, usually wins. But yeah, this was, for me, the end of this match was like, finally, let's go in a new direction with this junior title for a while. Can we, please? That'd be amazing. Let's do that. And El Desperado, he gets to win at the Dome. He gets his big moment. That's fucking amazing. Beating arguably the biggest junior in the company. Maybe actually one of the 10 best stars in the company himself, like in Hiromu. So this match was awesome, and it's a different match. Like they could have easily have gone back to the I'm going to take your mask off and maybe do some Dragon Lee slap stuff. Instead, I was just like, Hiromu's just like, I'm going to pretend you're Ishii tonight. Something
Pretty
like that.
much.
Like, these guys just decided just to slam each other for like 15 minutes, and it was awesome.
Luke, after the match, during the backstage comments, Desperado is doing his thing, and here comes Master Wato. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I got the title. What do you think? Let me have a match. And Kanemaru comes out of nowhere, destroys Wato, and jumps the line, and he is the next challenger.
I can't dig it. You know, you don't want Desperado to have he's winning, right? But you also, there's that friendship. They didn't formally like break up. You know, Suzuki-gun broke up. They went their different ways. So there wasn't any like deep betrayal or anything like that between the two men. So things are gonna heat up because Kanemaru is a son of a bitch.
A Gambit named after him. I mean,
right. Be careful of that motherfucker. Like, he's slippery. All right. So the next match we have Billy Ospreay versus John Moxley versus David Finlay. And this is for the global title, which is different to the world title because
it's global heavyweight. So it's only for heavyweights, this global title.
Oh, very important. Do you mean like the world heavyweight title and like
yes.
the all the other titles?
No, that one's open.
Yeah, but when's the last junior to hold that? I want some junior to be like, you know what, fuck this. I'm never as fuck. Let's go. And they haven't run on it.
We always wanted Hiromu to get the Never title.
We've been saying that for ages. That's still in my fantasy dream book. I'll have to refine that page. But yes, they're going for the global belt, which looks, it's got the white strap. It's fine.
Well, did we mention that the junior titles also have a white stripe now? Strap. Excuse me. Which I like the white strap, but like this one looks just like the Intercontinental title, right?
It looks like, hey, Mom, can we have the Intercontinental title? You've got the Intercontinental title at home, and it's this one. But I don't know. I just love that IC belt, and it's gone. So fuck you. All right, so I kind of like the psychology at the start of this match because Billy and Mox, they want a one-on-one match. This fucking Bullet Club prick. So they just beat the shit out of Finlay for ages and even put him through a table early in the match. Just like, get the fuck out of here. We want a one-on-one match. Finlay, I think he gets a busted nose at some point. Mox bleeds, but I think, that's just, he's a hemophiliac at this point, isn't he? And I love the goofy spot where Mox pile drives Finlay into Ospreay. I'm not sure that really hurts that much, and I don't mind. It was a nice looking spot. It was kind of cool. Finlay hits like this sick chair spot on Mox and does a dominator on Mox onto Ospreay. So poor Ospreay's feeling like a young lion right now.
But that's his fucking revenge for the pile driver Finlay top of Will. That's great.
The ref here is it Chumpy here? I can't remember, but the ref is slow to catch a pin after Billy Hidden Blades Finlay on top of Mox.
I blame the wrestlers.
Blame the wrestlers? All right. Mm-hmm. Definitely not Chumpy's fault. There's some really fucking cool spots here. It heats up really nicely, but the match ends not only the way I wanted it to, but the way it should, and it's with, well, the guy signed with New Japan absolutely winning. I could easily put I think he pins Ospreay with the Into Oblivion. Sure does. So I'm happy with that. Look, I can understand if they kept it on Ospreay because he's coming back for like a Dominion or Forbidden Door, all that kind of shit. And they love Moxley, so I could have seen that as well. But for me, the right choice was go like, hey, I'm not going anywhere. Remember, I'm here every week. David Finlay. So I was like, yes, please. Very happy with that. And then I get a little worried because I'm like, I don't want this I don't want Ziggler to beat him straight away. Like we don't want that because Finley has an altercation with Ryan Nemeth after the match.
Yeah, they fight even during the press conference too. Like afterwards, Finley's giving his press conference thing. Fucking Dolph Ziggler comes running in and dives on him. They have a great brawl. But a lot of details in this match that I thought were really cool. You know, this is another match where, other than the very beginning when it was part of the story, all three guys were almost always, you know, involved in what was going on, and I thought that was tremendous. You know, that pile driver dude onto other dude was one of the coolest spots of the entire
I love
night.
that. So goofy, but really cool too. Yeah.
There was like a little bit of like, oh, something's about to happen here. Everybody's just kind of hesitating. All of a sudden, War Dog's out, right? You know, we had Alex C and you know, Gabe Kidd out, and this is really fun because Alex C gets put through a table, and he doesn't go all the way through, but the table stays standing. So like he just he's like he's sitting in a bathtub. You know, and like he's about to get out because that probably is really painful. We see the next day he has a giant scratch on his back.
Oh,
it's like, so it probably is really painful, but he knows better, and he just sits there in the middle, like dead in this fucking table, and that was so great. I enjoyed the fight. I know it's set up, and I know a pull apart's just one of these things that happens in pro wrestling, but usually they feel so fake. The fight between Ziggler and Finley felt kind of like there's a little bit of shooting there, you know what I mean? Just a little bit, you know. It felt good, you know. I was like, okay, that was pretty cool, man. I thought this match was tremendous. By the way, the ending, like everybody is expecting the finish that here we'll have. At some point, Finley will, you know, steal the win, right? That's kind of what we're expecting to happen. And so they teased that like 20 times before it actually happened. And I thought that was really smart. There was really good booking in this, and the wrestling was tremendous. And it was nice to see like some of the stuff that we saw between Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley was just like as good as it gets. I've been down on Jon Moxley over the past like couple years because I don't really watch AEW, and when I see him in New Japan, it's been kind of lame. This was top tier Jon Moxley right here. Yeah. This is the stuff this is why he is who he is like this kind of stuff.
One dude on another dude. Like,
I mean, you know, yeah. I fucking loved him on this show and the next show that we'll talk about. So
yeah, absolutely.
Tremendous match. The right guy wins. We also did get an announcement at some point about Will Ospreay's future, which I'm sure is somewhere in these notes we'll talk about. But
there's a bit more about it on the next night, so we can talk about it there.
That's when
I feel like his last night will be February 11.
You feel that way, or he said that, and that's
he said
confirmed.
That, yeah.
So, all right. Well, next, Luke, it is the greatest match to ever happen. I was like so excited. This is the Will Ospreay versus Omega. This is the Okada versus Omega. That's what this is right here. So we have a special singles match. It is the rematch. It's Bryan Danielson versus Okada. You know, obviously Bryan Danielson got the win the first time. He made Okada tap out with a broken arm, and he has been talking about, you know, how he's been disappointed in Okada for tapping out. You know, he wants to win a different way, you know, and so I find that was very interesting. And the fact that this match, it's just two of the best wrestlers ever. And they were both healthy. They're both in a good spot. I mean, we just watched Ibushi versus Marufuji, two of the greatest wrestlers ever, right? And it was a shit show. You know, this was the opposite of that. It was the kind of thing where, you know, everything went right and nobody broke their arm this time. So it was even better. But here we go. So Okada comes out in all white, but his music stops right in the middle of his entrance. And he's got this weird like light that comes down and just pans over him, and it changes the color of his gear, and then his music starts again. You know, it was weird, but kind of cool. But
saw a few cum streaks there as well.
You know who really liked it was Rocky Romero. He liked it a lot. He was actually sounded excited during this match. But so Daniel Bryan, he rips up an Okada buck on his way to the ring, which is really funny. I love his like intentional, just silly anger. That's something that Daniel Bryan's always been good at it, where he'll be like, he'll rip a sign up, or I mean the whole like no thing, where he came out, he was a babyface, he said yes. When he turned heel, he said no. He's a tremendous wrestler when he's acting angry. So that
I'm going to kill you with a twinkle in my eye.
Yes. Okada is a massive dick, of course, right? He's acting like Bryan's not there, doing his whole, just his normal shenanigans, which I like. But as they square off, Okada keeps feeding his chin. Hit me right here. But as soon as Bryan advances, Okada retreats. It's so good. It's like just that opening is some of the best pro wrestling ever. I love it. So they go straight into main event mat wrestling that lays the groundwork for what comes later. And Bryan has promised to break Okada's arm. So his offense is based around misdirection and then going for the arm, right? Because he wants to end the Rainmaker. You're not going to beat me with the Rainmaker because I'm going to break your fucking arm. It's tremendous. So Okada yells, "Come on, Bryan," right in Bryan's face, which I thought was really funny. He gets a big "I'm a bitch" move and hits a running drop kick to Bryan's eye. All right. And so I love that. And, Okada takes him out to the floor. He hits a DDT on the floor. He runs comically off of it's like all these different levels we talked about, right? So he runs off one level to another level to another level and comically does that in order to run at Daniel Bryan. And but Daniel Bryan proceeds to absolutely just destroy him with a psycho knee on the outside. So that was so awesome. Bryan goes bonkers at this point. He grabs Okada. "You want to play like that? I'm going to break your fucking arm. And after I get done with that, I'm going to kick your fucking head in." It's so good. So Bryan proceeds to go psycho on Okada's arm, include using the little gate, which I appreciated. Made me laugh. Thank you, Daniel Bryan.
You do love that.
Bryan he uses a series of moves on Okada while having his arm trapped, including an almost straitjacket like Northern Lights suplex. It's fucking nuts. I don't know how to describe it other than it's offense while you have your opponent's arms trapped. And so, I mean, the amount of protection that requires for your opponent is high, and the amount of trust is incredible. So arm breaking stomp from Bryan, and he tells someone ringside to translate for him. He says, "Tell him I'm going to break his fucking arm." So I love that. That made me laugh. So all these brutal looking arm holds, and the crowd swells with every move. This is it's some of the best wrestling ever. These guys are laying on the ground and they're doing different holds and stuff, and everything's exciting, but every just instance of them moving their body in any way, shape, or form, the crowd moves like a wave. They move like the ocean, and Okada and Bryan are controlling the ocean with just a move of an arm. It's just, I love it so much. So Bryan ties Okada up in the corner, and he hits his drop kicks in the corner, and Okada lands a desperation boot to Bryan's eye. And that's kind of what Okada's game plan is. It's like, well, I'm going to go after the eye because, Daniel Bryan wears a stupid eye patch. It's just so funny. So top rope butterfly suplex from Daniel Bryan. Crazy violent strikes from Bryan, and they fight on the apron. Okada saves himself with a pile driver on the apron, and this is a countout spot. So Okada hits shitty kicks to Bryan's eye, and I mean, you want to talk about good time for commentary? Commentary is very good during this part, because they're letting, I think even at one point, Walker Texas Stewart was like, "Oh, he kicked him in the arm," and Chris Charlton corrects him. It's like, "No, I think it was a little higher than that. I think it was his eye," like that kind of stuff, which was really good. So Bryan, there's a Rainmaker here, all right? But Bryan dodges it. He kicks Okada in the head, but Okada blocks it. But guess what? All that arm work that Bryan's been doing. Okada blocks it, sells his arm immediately, which opens him up for the kick to the head. That was one of the coolest sequences I've ever seen in professional wrestling. It was so awesome. So Okada fires up out of the Bryan elbows, the Bullet Club or whatever they're called, the Combat Club elbows, Psycho Knee for 2, and the Boner Lock is back on, this time, Luke, with extra stank. So Okada, he's defiant, though, as the crowd starts to get louder and louder. Finally, they get a rope break, and they just did so much in that little spot with just simple holds. This is just, so good. Bryan starts doing crazy ROH stomps and tries an arm breaker. Desperation Rainmaker for a big double down. So now he's taken 2 Rainmakers, and Bryan had promised to break his arm. So they trade huge, brutal-looking strikes, reversals, and with Bryan hitting another Psycho Knee. That's a third one. Yes chance in the Tokyo Dome, Luke.
I know.
I just, one of the moments that I got pro wrestling, like as an adult. I got it as a kid, but it's a different thing. It was, it was a cage match, and it was Daniel Bryan versus the Wyatt family. Like, remember, he was joining the Wyatt family, and he was a part of their team. And at a certain point, it was them like versus the Usos or something. At a certain point in the cage match, he takes off the Wyatt gear, and underneath he's got the Daniel Bryan gear, and he starts doing the yes chant, and it's like the best yes chant of all time. That's what this felt like. It felt like that. It was like, it's just, Luke, we're all chasing, good feelings in life. We're all trying to find youth, get back to what it felt like to be a kid. And that's what this does for me. I really enjoyed, that. And it brought me back to times when I was just discovering how awesome pro wrestling could be. So anyway, yes chance in the Tokyo Dome. And reversals, and Okada gets another Rainmaker, this time for the win. I could have had another 10, 20 minutes of that. It was as good as I hoped. Both of the guys get in the ring. They do the Dogazi bows to each other. There's respect. Okada even looks at Bryan and goes, hey, you really fucked my arm up. And Bryan's like, you. I don't know. Luke, what did you think of this? Did it live up to the hype? Am I overselling it?
No, you're not. Because, I know who your favorite wrestler of all time is. It's Bryan Danielson. So you got to watch your boy wrestle in the Dome against Kazuchika Okada. Sure, they did it at Forbidden Door. It was awesome. I like this match more.
Yeah, me too.
And Bryan could have won this match too, and I still might have been fine, but you want to do the rubber thing, right? Yeah. So, yeah, you wanted these guys to wrestle again, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never heard it called the rubber thing, though. So
the rubber thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
I knew what you meant.
But, yeah, I like this match more than the Forbidden Door one, and I thought that was fucking incredible. So, yeah, I was in start to finish. They held me. That long submission spot, Okada's arm's been fucked up. It looks brutal. I'm just like, man, he's tapped out once. He doesn't usually tap out. But that's the thing, because he's tapped out once, even though it was rare. It was against this guy, so I remember. That's how smart I'm got a point in my head. I remember that. So I have to say, though, the right dude won. Okada, he gets his win. Looks like a fucking beast. The selling from both men is just incredible. Suplexes to make me happy, but then just beautiful mat stuff where you're right. The crowd might have seen Daniel Bryan lightly grab Okada's wrist. Ah! And I was feeling that too. Yeah. I was like, shit, he's going to tap in Japan. That's fucking huge. Rainmaker for the win. No money clips. None.
Not. I think he may have put it on once at the very beginning, but it didn't work. And Daniel Bryan he's got an answer for the money clip. It's called the boner lock. All right.
That's right. But, the more he uses that money clip, the more my brain goes, he don't respect this person. and
That's
he
fair.
barely used it in this match. I was like, yeah, all right.
He used it on the entire roster in that one G1.
That was not my favorite Okada G1.
You got real mad.
Yeah. Like, all right, so, man, you know how you wanted another 10 minutes of that match? I kind of want to talk about that match for another fucking 10 minutes. But look, there's only one bad thing about Tetsuya Naito versus Sonata for the world title. And that's Okada versus O'Brien just happened. Because I feel like Sonata and Naito absolutely crushed this. It's a fucking good match. But I just saw a masterclass piece of perfection. And oh my God. So I wouldn't say I was a little worried. I was just like, all right, can I get into this after that whole thing? Turns out, yeah. I had an absolute fucking blast watching Sonata versus Tetsuya Naito. This match is fucking gnarly and makes me extremely worried for Sonata's well-being because this is the fuck your neck kind of world title match. So you're going to get your fucking gnarly fuck your neck spots, like getting Sonata on the railing and then just like fucking neck break it down. I know he does it slow, and I know he makes sure he positions himself to not crush Sonata. You know, I know that. But then the move, he does the move, and I feel like Sonata's dead. So
hey man, if he dies,
that's
he
good
dies.
wrestling. If he dies, he dies. Yes, indeed. It's awesome. It's great back and forth. They go for what? Half an hour, 40 minutes?
I don't know.
Something
I didn't look,
absolutely. So we just watched, man, Okada Bryan Danielson is only 23. I can't believe that. And this is only 25, which is weird because I'm used to these guys doing a 40-minute main event. In that case, I felt like they got a lot of shit done in that time. They made me believe Sonata would win too. So this is a problem I've had with Sonata in these big match moments, is when he's been in these big match moments, like Ibushi, the G1, I'm like, well, Ibushi's just won the G1. Yeah, boom, done. You know, things like that. Well, this is champion Sonata, and he's had that belt for how long? Not a year, but just almost a year. Yeah. So he's had a pretty decent run with this title. So anything can happen, and they did a fucking amazing job making me go, oh, fuck. Are you really going to make Naito fans wait another year? Like I wouldn't mind if Sonata won. It probably needs it more than Naito does, but you might be smart to put the biggest title in your company on the most popular wrestler for a time. That might be a good idea, New Japan. So, like, we get to the next Wrestle Kingdom 19, he should still have it. Let him have it. I know.
Dominion.
Yeah, it's the Naito effect, isn't it?
Hey, Tanahashi's the president, so
that's right. But I felt like this match did a lot for me with Sonata. He's fired up. He's got the personality's kind of peeking through, and he made me believe that he could win. So this time last year, I was like, I don't know, Sonata, and this whole year with the Just Five guys and all that kind of thing, I feel like I've been on this journey with him. And hey, he lost, but guess what else he got to do? He got to main event the Tokyo Dome with Tetsuya Naito, the most over guy in the fucking company, go 25 minutes, have an absolute fucking banger, and it's about the third or fourth fucking Destino, and the Destino's fucking gnarly, this fucking last one. It's the last one where I feel like there's some kind of, they hit each other somehow when they hit the Destino, that final one, I think it was. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. I loved it. It was really good. I feel bad because they came out after, you know, arguably two of the best in the world right now, you know, Bryan and Okada, but I don't know. I felt like this match hit for me a little better than maybe the last year's main event did after Omega and Ospreay had happened. You know what I mean? I don't know. I like this match a lot. What do you think?
I thought it was awesome. this match was a journey. Like, it was one of those things where it started off, and yes, we're doing wrestling, but then it gets real at a certain point, and Sonata is maybe injured or KO'd or something. Like, there's problems. Like, his shoulder's fucked up. He can't do some of the moves, and it becomes real all of a sudden. And it's between these two friends, former friends that are gaining respect from each other with every move that happens in the match. And by the end, we know they respect each other.
Yes. I felt like they respect each other more now as people who wrestle against each other than Naito ever did when Sonata was on LIJ. Yes.
It makes me emotional thinking about it because, there's a moment, probably the best moment of Wrestle Kingdom, is Sonata leaving the ring and breaking down after losing this match. And Naito's about to give his big speech, but before he does that, he makes sure to stop Sonata in the aisle and thank him. And Sonata just starts crying, and like, I'm crying thinking about it. It was a huge moment. Naito said specifically, I made it to this spot, but I never would have made it there without you. It's like, it's just some of the best pro wrestling I've ever seen. And are there moves that get botched because guys are hurt or something doesn't go right? Yeah, but it plays a part in the match. So much so that by the end, these two guys have left it all out there. All of it. Here lies Sonata and Naito. They gave all.
Yeah. And you think, like, Sonata's break from LIJ was like the opposite of kind of Evil's. And it happened around the same time in a New Japan Cup. So Evil went evil. Sonata was just like, look, dude, thanks, but I'm going with these boys now. See you later.
Well, let's talk about Evil, because something amazing happens. After the match, Naito is about to give a speech, and fucking House of Torture attacks. And they're like, fuck that. And Evil steals the belt. He starts getting on the mic, and he's like, hey, bro, I'm now it turns out I'm the 8th champion. We're like, oh my God. And everybody is so pissed. But guess who saves Naito?
Fucking Sonata. Yeah.
Wow. So those 3 guys got to be involved in this huge moment that's an LIJ moment.
Yeah.
But of course, it's their moment too. I mean,
because they might not be in LIJ now, but it's all led to here. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's one of the best moments in Wrestle Kingdom I've ever seen. I love that. And it's just such a special moment. And I don't know. I loved Wrestle Kingdom. I thought it was so good. I thought that, especially the second half of it, like a lot of New Japan shows nowadays, that's the way it is the second half is where it's at. The first half is just good, where the second half is where the great stuff happens. And it's kind of how this this show was as well. But I loved it.
Well, I feel like that's what New Japan wants. They want you to enjoy the first half, but just so you know, like, the matches are going to get like,
that's how a wrestling show is supposed to go. It's supposed to be a long crescendo that peaks at the top. And I think that's what this one did, especially if you were a Japanese fan. I can't imagine what a Japanese fan has spent all their money to go see every single, New Japan show that they can, especially the ones with Naito in them, or especially the ones with just 5 guys, or whatever. Maybe they were a huge Sonata fan when Sonata was in LIJ, because it turns out he is, in fact, Naito's friend, and so, I mean, think about that journey if you're a massive Sonata fan. If you've gone and see all, I mean, what a cool deal. I mean, that's like one of those times where you want to send the fans home happy on a big show like this. Even if you're a Sonata fan, which I am, you're happy.
Hell, I'd be happy if I was like Naito too, because you got to believe like those 3 dudes are probably mates in real life. And through you have being the head of this faction, you've helped like get this guy, evil guy over. You've helped Sonata. get over, and now the three of you are just like, hey, we're on the biggest stage in the mall. How's it going, guys? Fist bump, fist bump. Yeah, but ain't fist bump.
It's
You know what I
great.
mean?
But it makes you wonder, like, will one day that main event be, Suji, Yuya, and Shota Umino, Ren Narita? I mean, like, it's that same kind of thing, this generational thing that happens in pro wrestling, and especially is kind of featured in New Japan. We got to see it on the grandest stage. What a cool deal.
Yeah, man. I'm just thinking about Grizzly now in Clerks. Like, that's beautiful, man.
Grizzly Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What you
he
looking
had a
at,
beard.
Grizzly Adams? Oh. See, like, that was really cathartic to talk about that show. Like, I don't know. It's Wrestle Kingdom. And now I get to talk about, all right, it's an interesting show, which sets up things for the future, Mr. Guy. It is New Year's, a dash. Now, we do have Google reviews of it. We're at the Samadhi City Plaza.
Yeah, new venue. Typically, they run Kurgan Hall for this show, but this venue was one of those, like, generic gymnasium hall type deals, but it could fit a lot more people than Kurgan Hall, and it was sold the fuck out.
Yeah, it was. So I got a 1-star review here. I'm just telling you all it's a 1-star review just in case I forget to say 1 star. All right. The facility is very clean and perfect. Why is the staff's attitude so bad? Especially women. It's too bad. Even though it's a nice facility, I gave it 1 star because the staff's customer service. I will never use it again. What? Is it black? Why is your attitude so bad? 1 star. Wow.
I read through the reviews of this place, the Samadhi City Plaza, and most of the complaints were about the staff. I mean, sometimes specifically. So we'll see if my review for the Samadhi City Plaza says anything about that. But here we go. I wrote a song about it. Like to hear it? Here it goes. When I inquire about using the facility, the director, a person who identified himself as Watanabe, answered the phone. From beginning to end, he spoke in a way that seemed to be making fun of others, and I felt disgusted. It was very disappointing, even though the facility was very clean. 1 star. Place is clean.
Hey, turns out the cleaning staff, they're fucking awesome.
They're not very nice.
The rest of the staff,
they do a great job. That's great. Well, Luke, I'll start this night off, and it was Taguchi versus Tanahashi to start. As we know, this is like, it's funny. Walker Texas Stewart had to say it. He called it Mystery Vortex, which is a PWG show that you don't know who's on the show. And that's kind of what, this show has become, is that, New Year Dash, which is New Year Dash, not New Year's Dash. That show is like a mystery show. We don't know what's going to happen. And I got to say, this opening match was very disappointing for what it was. I was like, what the fuck? But at least something. So it's even more disappointing. But it is Tanahashi out. He gets the mic and he says, we need to show New Japan Pro Wrestling that, what this belt's all about. So Taguchi comes out and they're going to have a match, and it's for the title. Oh, that's what it was. Taguchi gets the mic, and he's like, hey, man, I want that title. And Tanahashi's like, okay, buddy. Taguchi runs the ropes to exhaustion. Tanahashi gets booed for doing the funky weapon, which is really funny. And then Taguchi hits a plancha. This match is very silly. They do a bunch of fish out of water pins, and Tanahashi is the master of that. So he gets his ass out and wins. Luke, what happens afterwards? And what did you think of that match?
It was short, and Tanahashi was always winning. It was fine. It was fine. Yeah. That didn't set my world on fire or anything, but I was alright with that. And you got to think to yourself, yeah, Tanahashi's winning, but the match isn't necessarily about that. The match is about, like, what's New Year's Dash? Who's coming to beat him up? Or is there going to be a Titantron playing? And then a video package plays. And I know pretty quickly who it is because it's some fucking fool who doesn't wear shoes. And I'm like, no.
All they
Please,
thought was so cool. It's a guy who pulls up in a limo. Who is it? Oh, his toenails are painted and he's wearing sandals. Oh.
Oh. I mean, like, it's Matt Riddle, everyone. And I was just like, man, News Dash is about a show about, like, surprises and going in a new direction. And I was just like, no thanks.
I mean, Matt Riddle, tremendous in-ring performer. Like his like style matches perfectly with New Japan. If you had asked me this 5 years ago, I'd have been like, oh fuck yeah. But that guy's a piece of shit. Like I know firsthand he's a piece of shit. Like, so fuck him. I hopefully they get a good match out of it, but I think the fan reaction, hopefully has been as negative enough that New Japan will actually take notice. We'll see. They don't seem to care about, allegations and things like that, which Matt Riddle has quite a few of. But at the same time, I'm sure the match will be great, because Matt Riddle's an excellent wrestler, but he's a piece of shit.
Yep. So yeah, not my favorite thing, dude. And I feel like, let's start. Like, and I understand, like, you want to start with a strong surprise, and I guess for some people that will be it. But for me,
but the Japanese fans were like, "Oh, okay." They didn't give a fuck about Matt Riddle. They didn't know who he was. They didn't care. This crowd for New Year Dash was very, very Japanese. There was a few fucking American or European marks that were standing. I saw behind. Maybe they came late and there wasn't a seat available for them. But mostly the folks that this is important for later. This is a very Japanese crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely going to say that in the future. But all right, so let's go. Oh, by the way, it's Tanner 2 belts now. Do you think he came out with the Stank belt? By the way, no. So next we have.
Do you leave the Stank belt in the shitter? Oh, Tanahashi! Like I don't know. Like Nakashima runs up. Tanahashi, you left the Never Open, 6-man titles in the toilet again.
You know what I want to see now? I want to see him put those Stank belts through Okada's blacklight thing. So what the fuck's on those belts, dude? How many Yoshihashi streaks are on this? Like, oh my god.
What is making them stink so much? I don't think we want to know.
Has Yujiro ever held those belts? That might be the reason.
Yes.
Dunk gets it in everywhere.
That's tremendous.
Oh my goodness. All right. So now we have Kaito Kiyomiya and Ryohei Iwa, and they're wrestling Team Fisherman. And it's a pretty good solid bout. I still like seeing Kiyomiya hanging around. And I don't know, Iwa, it was good to see you too, but you're on excursion, so fuck off. Now come back fully formed, please, because I love you. But it's a good match, not very long either. Doesn't quite set anything up because Fishermen are losers. Well, literally, they lost. But it's good stuff. Shoto on Iwa, of course, and it was fun.
Got a big problem in this match. All right, something happens that never happens in New Japan. All right. Goto. Okay, so what happens here is he's getting his ass kicked, right? Until he hits Kiyomiya with a big lariat, and Kiyomiya gets up first and gets the tag first. After that, whoops.
That's because Kiyomiya is in his 20s and can just be like, do, and Goto's a broken down old man held up by fucking.
That's because somebody forgot who was on offense. That's what happened. But it sure was a match, and I don't know why that existed, but I sure was hoping that the Fishermen would lose, but they're too powerful for bad psychology. So it is. But, and next, Luke, we have a match that is announced as
Oh
a
my
Young
God.
Lions send-off match. It's Nakashima and Oscar Loeb versus the tag champs, ELP and Hikuleo. I don't really. I was kind of bummed out that they announced this was the the send off match. I would have much rather had Oscar and Nakashima go up against GBH, win. Who cares who they pin? It's going to be Hanma, but they pin
we shouldn't
Hanma.
cover them.
They get the win, and then they announce that was your send off match, right? But no, they get a match versus the tag champs that is announced as their send off match beforehand, which is also a way to go because it does get the crowd fired up because they're like, oh, fuck, this is their send off match. They're going to win it, but it's versus the champs. Like, come on, man. Double champs? Get out of here. So, anyway, so ELP decides to turn into a bump machine for the Young Lions in this match. It's great. There's a spot where the Young Lions, like Nakashima's got ELP in a fucking brab, and so here comes Oscar. Here comes Oscar, and he's gonna hit a leg drop, but it's like a curb stop leg drop while ELP's in the brab. So you know who came up with that, right? That was ELP's idea. So
yeah.
Anyway,
hey, give me the 10-10 tombstone, and while he's doing that, Oscar leg drop.
He's like, hey man, I'll do all the bumps for you. It's great. So we get a big standoff between Oscar and Hikuleo. They're both the big, and they do the bigs, big mans. And ELP hits a crazy huge UFO thingy on Nakashima. ELP hits the big splash on both Young Lions, pinning them. But not stacking them up or doing a Bushiruti beforehand, which I was very disappointed by. I thought he knew wrestling. I thought he knew you stack the guys up. You don't lay them next to each other. But, it's sad. But so after the match, the sound guy refuses to turn the music off. So ELP's like, turn my music off. The Young Lions want to do something. Sound guy's like, fuck you, doesn't do it. And so the Young Lions do the Dogazi bow to the crowd, while ELP's music is in the background. And we hear happy pop punk sounding Young Lions send-off song. So there's like a Young Lions send-off song, and we hear that. That was weird.
Yeah, it wasn't like the standard Young Lion music or anything, but it was adorable. It was really sweet. Oh, I'm so happy. Man,
it was so cool. I mean, what'd you think of the match? I mean, I don't want to ruin it yet, but something's going to ruin it.
I like this match. I thought it was a good time. And I don't know, it's no secret. You and I have been pretty hot on Broken Young Yudo Nakashima and Oscar Loeb. We've both been into them for quite a while. They're going to be tagged. Can you move, please? I don't. Thank you. I thought you were frozen. Just sometimes just move somehow. But okay. Okay. But they've been tag bros. Are they going? They got to be. Where are they going together? They're going together, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what it seems like. It seems like the New Japan is going to send them as a team, which they did for Sho and Yo as well. So that's a thing.
Sweet.
I saw Sho and Yo when they were on excursion in America.
How was it?
They sure did do the moves, and then they lost.
That sounds like a Young Lion on excursion to me.
Luke, I hate to tell you this, but that's not all that happened here.
I know.
So you want to tell us about it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to, but can you?
Well, for some reason, Bullet Club won't leave two people alone. That's Tamatonga and El Fantasmo, and I just wish they would feud with other people. Oh, no, here's Chase Owens. Oh, hey, we're coming for you. And I'm like, man, this is the second surprisey next feud thing, and I don't like this one either. Boo! All right, who's he tagging with? Well, the only other person left is, well, it's Kenta. He's not there, of course, because he never leaves the America for some reason. And then I think, like, well, where's that match going to happen? Oh, yeah, there's a fucking American show on next week, so it's probably going to happen there. So it'll be Chase Owens and Kenta versus ELP and Hikuleo. And I've already seen Kenta, Hikuleo and stuff too. I'm just like, I want to.
They've definitely had some strong history, But at the same time, I think that like tag team Kenta is usually a good time. So and like if I'm gonna say anything positive about Chase Owens, there was like last year, wasn't this year, last year, he busted out this like kind of Jeff Jarrett persona that was like this like cheating Southern heel style. And it was not bad. It was pretty good. What happened there? Can we have that back? Maybe? Can you do that?
That'd be if we're gonna watch it, can you at least like do what we want? God damn it. All right, man. I guess wait.
12.
No. I've got this match. All right, let's do it. It is a match that I watched, and it featured a team I love. That team is the House of Torture. Woo-hoo! That's all of them. We've got, well, all of them, yeah. And on the other team, we've got Shooter Umino, El Desperado, the champ, Wato, Tamatonga, Makabe, and Honma. Yay!
Yay!
But so I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh no. All right, Despi's got a title. Yeah, all right, that'll work. But then my brain goes to the other thing. Oh, Tama's also got a. Oh, okay. Yeah. So there isn't a whole lot to this match, but it is like it's obvious. It's the House of Torture guys. They're going to go after all of these dudes for the short or foreseeable future for the next program, I guess. And it's short. Togo loses. It's fine. But after the match, like Ren's in with the fucking push-up board. They all beat. He's in, and Despy. This is a nice little story moment actually. Like Despy's just like Ren, man, because I haven't really, like this for a while, eye to eye.
He's trying to talk sense to him. He's like, we used to be in a tag team together like last week. What happened?
And then Ren's just like moved into the House of Torture, bitch, and they House of Torture beat him up too. There's handcuffs on Tamatonga after and everything is evil, and they cut his hair, which the crowd goes fucking nuts for that. So like, ooh, it's evil. Oh, how dare he? That evil holds up that title. Kanemaru, obviously, he's getting up in Desperado's face, so they're setting up a bit of a Despy Kanemaru feud, and I'm like, yes, please, I want that. And if I'm going to get some tag matches featuring Despy Wato versus Kanemaru and Sho, yes, please. Yes, please.
Wato. How many times is Wato going to get the karate chop to the dick?
Oh, my God.
All the time, and I can't wait to see it.
Going to get a massive case of the blue balls, that's for sure. Shooter Ren. Yep, let's keep it going. I'm into it. Let's go. The double cross, man. It's been sinking in this whole time. I like the name, but so yeah, the only thing I'm not into about this whole situation, and I love Evil. Everyone knows I love Evil. Everyone. But I complained about him when he had the Never title in this House of Torture persona, and now he's going for it again, and Tama's leaving in a month, and I'm just like, you just had it on a perfectly good Shingo right there. But it's fine. Look, at least someone I love is being involved in the Never title, and I love House of Torture, so fuck it. I'm just going to take it. All right, I'm going to take it.
I'm pretty happy with this direction. If it's going to go anywhere, I'd rather go to Taichi, but that's not where we're going. So, it's going to be Evil that will get that title off him. And I'm excited for that. Evil with the Never title is great heat versus us. You know what I mean?
It is.
So I'm not mad about that. Like, that makes sense. It's not like Tanahashi having it, where it's like he's a
Evil
baby
can
face,
make everyone hate him.
Right.
Especially me right here, who's got like 2 Evil t-shirts. And just fucking gives him podcast fellatio every episode, and he will make me go, fuck it,
Commentary absolutely hates Master Huato. And at one point during this match, he tags in.
Why does that
and
carry over?
Chris Charlton calls him, "Oh, it's Mr. Electricity, Master Huato." And like Walker Texas Stewart rips on him too. And I'm like, guys, why? Stop it.
I know he looks like an adorable dog, but he could kick all three of your fucking asses. So
yes.
Shut up.
And like, okay, you want to rip on Dick Togo like that? Cool.
That's his job, yeah.
You want to rip on Gato like that? Do it. He loses. Jotto, they lose every match. It's fine. But Watto won Best of Super Juniors. I'll never shut. That's like your cut-through era. You know, your cut-through era is my Master Watto getting ripped on by the fucking commentators. It gets under my skin big time. So, but I thought this match was a lot of fun. You know, Shota Umino versus Ren uninterrupted for a while is just they just crush it, man. And we got a 6-way Ho train on Shota Umino by House of Torture, which I really liked. That was so much fun. But yeah, so you talked about it. Also, the whole thing where Desperado was trying to talk sense into Ren Narita and it didn't work. And then Chumpy. So you had mentioned, oh, this is an interesting thing too. So we have Evil holding up the hair and also the title. Now, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but you're holding up both those things. It's almost like you're saying hair versus title match, but you already cut dude's hair off. So are you putting up your hair for the title? Is that what we're doing? That's what it seems like to me. But we have Tama Tonga handcuffed, and he can't do anything. And there's only one man that can save him. He's wearing a tracksuit top that puts all of my tracksuit tops to shame. It's referee Marty Asami who comes out and he unhooks the handcuffs. Fucking hero walk. Love it.
I have to see tracksuits, and I'm like, Andy might like that. Andy might like that. I see Chumpy walking out in a tracksuit, and I'm like, Andy just bought that.
Dude, like, his collar was like permanently flipped up. Like it doesn't go down on that one. It was so badass. Oh man, I wish I had that. You know, I feel like that the one he was wearing too was such a great tracksuit. You could walk into any place, anywhere, and someone would go, "That guy works here. That guy's official. That guy's here to inspect this place. That guy's an athlete." You know, one way or the other, you're getting over in that tracksuit.
That athlete's like something, yeah.
Yep. So. Well, Luke, the next match to get over with us is a 10-man tag. It is Hanare, Jeff Cobb, TJP, regular TJP. He's not a monster anymore. Well,
no,
not that kind of monster. So Akira and Will Ospreay versus Dan Baloney, Clark Connors, Gabe Kidd, the fucking android, and David Finlay, the new champion of the Globes. And I really like this match. This is great. It starts off with a huge dive, right? From like all the baby faces are doing big dives, and everybody brawls all over the entrance area. Akira, Akira is like the most fiery baby face ever. Like he's so good at this, and so everybody's kind of brawling towards the entrance, right? Why are they brawling over there? Well, who cares? It looks like they're just brawling. It's kind of natural looking. All of a sudden, TJP boosts Akira up to the second level, and he does a huge dive. And listen, if you want me to mark out for like big moves and stuff, if you want, you know, like the things that I mark out for, sometimes it's going to be stuff like that. But I marked out for Bullet Club catching Akira. That was a textbook safe, amazing looking catch.
Really was.
Oh my
and it looked
god,
fucking badass.
Like it killed. It looked like it killed all Bullet Club, but Akira landed, and it probably felt like he landed on a bunch of pillows. It was awesome, dude. I marked the fuck out for that. That made me so happy. So flawless catch, a rare thing in these, you know, this day and age. But we get a chump bump to Kenta Sato. He thinks he's cool, and then the android checks on him, but then throws him out of the ring. He's like, "Hey, you okay?" Throws him out of the ring. And like Kenta Sato goes tumbling out of the ring. we'll talk about how to fall out of the ring later as a ref. But anyway, Catch 2 versus the Android. Tremendous. And then Hanare punches the cushion off a chair being swung by the Android. So the Android's trying to hit everybody with chairs. Hanare just does the punch thing. That tiger photo on Twitter and Instagram, man, they got some great shots of that are just so good. But anyway, that's a great thing to follow anyway, people to follow. But so all of a sudden we have the young ref Sakamoto. He gets in. He stops Hanare from using a chair, and then he stands up to Clark Connors. Clark Connors like, fuck you, bro. He pushes Clark Connors, so Clark Connors spears him. And man, if they could have got away, like if Sakamoto could have come out with his shoes completely unlaced, you know what I mean? And somehow his shoes would have fallen. Oh, dude. Like somehow you get that gimmick to work, that would have been better. But man, it was really fun. He did take kind of a pro wrestling bump when he got speared, which you don't really want your refs to do. But it was awesome. I thought that was so fun. And he even so the Wild Rhino fucking hits it with the spear, mounts the ref, and starts punching the ref in the face. He gets booed for that.
Oh. The ref, like the crowd was like, "Hey, what are you doing to the ref? Fuck you!" Yeah.
Have you ever seen someone mount a ref and start punching them in the face in New Japan?
No, sir.
I've never seen that.
No, sir. I've not.
I'm not sure if I've ever seen that in wrestling. That was something else. I was like, wow. So there's only one ref left, right? So, well, hold on. Cobb stands in. Or he stands on one of the chairs and hits a suplex. Okay, everybody's feeding in to do cool moves. And so, I think it's Gabe Kidd. He's running it. Jeff Cobb, he's going to do a suplex. But there's all these chairs. And Jeff Cobb just does a suplex while he's standing on the chair and just kind of throws Gabe Kidd. Or it might have been the Android as far as he can. And he's looking like, is he okay afterwards? I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway. So there's only one ref left, right? And it's Ref Chumpy. I mean, like Red Shoes is back there, like fucking snorting cocaine and off hookers' tits and stuff like that. That's what
he's backstage, he's still fixing over and stressing over the bike that he let Shooter ride out to the crowd last time.
It was his motorcycle. He's checking the oil.
Yeah,
like that. He's like, I am 1/8 of a quart low. What happened? But anyway, so Chumpy, he comes in to save the day, and there's so many awesome things in this match. Cool moves, of course, but eventually Gabe Kidd, he starts bleeding all over the place, right? And Bullet Club, they destroy the front row of chairs and guardrails. They kind of like fight into the front row and just start throwing shit, and like fans are getting hit with stuff. I love it. It's so funny. So Chumpy throws the match out, as he should. It was getting ridiculous. Everybody fights. All right. So Chumpy gets thrown out of the ring by Will Ospreay, and Chumpy lands perfectly on his 2 feet. And I just lost my mind. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Amazing.
Because usually he goes flying and bounces all over, and he will do like a little sneaky roll, but he won't bump. He'll do it like a normal person would if they were getting hit. But Chumpy fucking rolls out of the ring expertly and lands on his feet like, oh.
It's the fucking Chump, man. He knows what to do.
It was like Wrestle Kingdom Chumpy, man. He's here on your tattoo. So that made me laugh so hard. And but this really cool thing happened. So Will comes in, he saves everybody. He's doing the babyface shit. The crowd's going nuts. We forgot about somebody, Luke. We forgot about Gato. Gato comes up behind him, bow, with fucking low blow. And Dampoloni, blades Akira in the corner. So those guys are fighting in the corner. Akira's like, oh my God, I'm the most babyface person ever. And Dampoloni's poking him in the forehead. So he blades him. So Akira's bleeding all over. And unfortunately, the camera did not get this very much. Like, they were kind of focused on other stuff. They didn't have a good angle on this, so really didn't get to see it. But Akira was bleeding all over the place, which, by the way, he should bleed once a month. Let's get Akira to blade once a month, because That was very effective. Just the fact that I knew he was bleeding, I was like, well, fuck these guys.
What the fuck are you doing to Akira?
This is so good. So anyway, United Empire, they recover, they clear the ring. TJP, he missed Finley in his fucking face, right? And Will throws Gato through a table in the corner. It's a lot of fun. And this is where we get the announcement from Will Ospreay that February 11th, this is his last match in New Japan, and he wants a rematch. But it's Bullet Club Pick the Rules 5-on-5 at the show that's next weekend in the Valley.
No, I feel like they're
February 11th. It's going to be a February 11th. I mean, I'm sorry.
Thank God. I was like, why are they doing that at the American show? No offense to people who got tickets to that show, but fuck you, that match has to happen in Japan. Why would you have
I just assume
last match not in Japan, right? Because that's going to sell out the Japanese crowd. I want to go see Ospreay's last match as a full-time roster employee of New Japan, please. So, yeah. It's going to be a 5-on-5 cage match. Cool. First cage match in 20 years. Feb 11. That's right. In Osaka. Cool.
I don't think there's ever been a proper cage match in New Japan. I'm thinking like the cage match they're talking about. It's like the exploding death match cage match or something. I don't think there's ever been a proper one in New Japan. Check out Chris Sampson on Twitter to find out.
I'd rather check out my friend Chris Schmamschma, but it's fine.
I love it.
All right, so next we have just 5 guys versus all of just 5 guys, by the way, and this is going to be all of LIJ. Okay, T10 or Pirate Man aren't there, but shut up.
They don't count. We did miss, Luke. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but on April 12th, there is a big announcement that New Japan Strong was coming to Chicago, Windy City Riot, and they're booking a much bigger venue than they normally would. Like they're booking like the WWE venue. So just say,
wow, that's ambitious. Makes me feel like they're going to put a non-strong card on it.
Or if there's an AEW show that week too.
Hey, you never know. But yes, we do have all of just 5 guys versus all of LIJ.
Sorry, yes.
And all right, there's something that makes me fucking laugh about this match, Mr. Guy. All of LIJ is pissed off because they lost. Oh, well, except for Naito, who comes out last going, I'm the champ, All the others is just like, Shingo, lost. Yoda Tsuji, lost.
Bushi,
Roman,
not booked.
Lost. Bushi, about to drop the Taka.
Yeah, not booked, too. Damn.
So, I won't go too deep into it. This is another great match in a series of matches by both teams, and I know Wrestle Kingdom and News Dash is supposed to go off in super brand new mega directions, and I've been annoyed when it hasn't, Evil Tamara again, etc. However, I would like a little bit more of just 5 guys versus LIJ, please. It's just, especially after Wrestle Kingdom, and then hearing you go off about like how awesome that moment was of the 3 of them last night. I'm like, yeah, a bit more Sonata Naito. Yeah. My favorite stuff though is always the stuff with Taichi and Shingo. Now,
I was just going to bring that up, like, and like the whole thing with Taichi and Sonata too, and how long that went on. This is a similar feud, right? Where it's like now they've gotten to the point where they respect each other, but we're going to go a little further too, And
that's right, because Taichi needs someone in LIJ he can fuck with now, and he wants to play a little game with that person. But it's not going to be a peck off. He does that with his best bro Sonata. No. all their shenanigans against each other. At least I noticed at this match, and I hope it carries on. It all seem to revolve around Shingo going star, or Taichi going, I'm going to take my pants off, and the other and Shingo and Taichi stopping each other from doing that or doing it completely. Star, star, star. Ah.
That's a fun.
And it's a fun little comedy thing that they have to do when the rest of the time they're doing Never Style and they're going to fuck each other up. So I just like that bit of personality. Absolutely. I loved it. Some really nice Sonata and Naito stuff as well, which is pretty cool. And then I kind of, no offense to Taka, but Taka gets in, and then suddenly I'm just like, oh yeah, the match is ending. I'll just start doing my notes and just, it's fine. Then I look up, and I see dreams are real. The impossible can happen. Pretty sure we saw a Michinoku driver on Bushi. 1, 2, 3. Taka is coming, motherfucker. Wow.
That's great. We hear it. We hear Taka is coming, motherfucker. And I immediately hear, instead of Taka's theme, I hear the song from the popular Broadway musical of Man of La Mancha, to dream the impossible dream. That's what I start hearing. I saw windmills and shit, man. I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome. That match was so fun. And when Naito shows up and he's got the title, that crowd just loses their fucking mind, man. But they're all interested. Like everyone in this match, like you were talking about at the top, they all have some kind of like thing recently that happened to them, except for Bushi. Everybody else has had some kind of, whether they've lost or won. Most of them have lost. Sonata is a little bummed out in this match at first, but after the match, there's a big standoff between Yuya and Tsuji, and Sonata grabs the mic and he's like, what do you think? One more time, right? So they're going to have another title shot. Sonata's probably going to lose again to Naito, which I don't know why you have to do that again, but I'm not mad about it. It'll be awesome, and also it's pretty cool. Like Sonata kicks LIJ out of the ring too, which is something that he's been doing.
I love that gimmick.
They're like hanging out, and like Shingo really plays it up. He's like, what? I'm here. What? He does the Dick Togo. Like, what do you mean? It's so great because, Sonata's like, well, we did win, so get the fuck out of the ring. He kicks him out of the ring, and Taka breaks down the brief history of Just Five Guys. They're going to change. And then Taichi does the thing that he did last year on the same day, where he took his pants off to the beat of the Just Five Guys theme.
I like that Taka's like, last year we were just 4 guys and we had nothing. This year we are just 5 guys and we have nothing, and everything is going to be different this year.
but it's all going to change, It's great.
Oh my God. Hey, I'd be a team galvanized into action and high spirits too after your jobberiest dude just pulled out a win. So
that's tremendous, man. Big moment. There was a lot of stuff in that match too between Doki and Hiromu, and they kind of have a feud going on now, a little mini feud, and
yes,
all about that. So
remember when Hiromu came back and they decided to give him a main event at a Korakuen Hall tune-up match, and it was like a 25-minute match against Doki.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. When Doki gets these opportunities, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna die like someday soon anyway, so I might as well just die now." It's gonna be awesome. So, and Hiromu just lives his life that way anyway. So, that's gonna be tremendous. Anyway, well, next, Luke, we have the only match that is booked on New Year Dash, and that is the King of Pro Wrestling match. This year, the variation of it that we're doing is a 10-minute pinfalls only scramble match. Okay. So it's a bunch of people in this match. It's 4, which really, to me, a scramble match has to be 5 or more, because if there's 4, it's a 4-way, right? But New Japan is like, nah, this is a scramble, bro. So here we are. So how it works is there's 10 minutes on the clock. The person with the last pinfall, is the provisional King of Pro Wrestling champion for now, right? So you're thinking the strategy is get a pin as soon as you can and then defend, right? So that's kind of what everybody does, right? The match is Ishimori versus Yo versus Great-O-Khan versus Yano. And Yano almost joins, or no, he almost joins Bullet Club, but he eats Ishimori's hand instead there at the beginning of the match. And everybody's just trying to get pins. Like I said, they want to get the pin and then play defense. And Great-O-Khan pins both juniors at the same time and almost gets them both. It's like, normally that kind of move is very convoluted, but it was perfect. Great-O-Khan appears out of nowhere and just grabs both guys and just has this really organic looking pin. I love that. That was so much fun. So Great-O-Khan and Yano go at it. Always fun. Great-O-Khan puts him in the corner for a seat in the corner, of course, and it's the exposed one. And Yano doesn't really sell it, and I was kind of disappointed, but it is New Year Dash. But, Yo breaks it up with the turnbuckle cover. I don't know what that means, but Yo, he gets the first pin of the match on Yano. Yo plays defense as Great-O-Khan and Yano wrestle. Then we have Great-O-Khan pinning Yo with 1 minute 48 left. And then he pins Yo again, just for good measure, I guess. I don't know.
Look, I don't care how confusing and dumb that looked. He did it twice.
So funny.
And he did that for me. Like, I said to him one day, Great-O-Khan, if you can you find a way to double rack and stack Yo? Like just Yo. And he was like, no, but I think I might have a compromise. And this was it, pinning him twice, making him look like a bitch. Yeah.
That was funny. At this point, Ishimori appears out of nowhere, hits a low blow on Great-O-Khan, pins him for the 3, and then Great-O-Khan spends the rest of the match chasing Ishimori around, trying to pin anyone that he can find, and Ishimori takes the belt and plays more defense, running away as time expires. He is the current provisional champion.
Great choice. What a great choice. I would have been disappointed with Yano, because we've done that. Great-O-Khan would have been a decent choice too. How's Yo going to come up with stipulations? He'd have to just copy everyone else's. So yeah,
he would copy everyone else.
But I've been saying the juniors, technically they got the 6-mans they can go for. They've got the never open title they can go for. They never do. So the only thing they got is the tag titles and the junior title. Right? What a way to freshen it up by, hey, you've got a really cool juniors division again now. Let's do some junior shit with this title. And Ishimori, he seems like the perfect choice. I've seen him in Bullet Club Cuties. I've seen him be this adorable little shit heel. And then I've seen him be an absolute fucking badass. And he can mix that up depending on the steps he wants to choose or who he's wrestling against. What an interesting new direction. I don't think I would have thought of Ishimori for this. I might have been like, Ishimori Despi? Or something like that, like the usual stuff. But
this
is different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, and it's a great match. But this is different. And it gives it'll give, if they go this direction, it'll give the juniors, hey, let's do some silly fun stuff we don't get to usually do, unless it's a Taguchi tag match or something. Yeah, I'm into it. I'm really into it. I can't wait to see where it goes.
I think it's a strong possibility we're getting Great-O-Khan as the first challenger.
You might be right.
Would be a lot of fun. He'll probably lose. That's what he does, but it's fine. But, I'd like to see him. I'd also like to see Taguchi challenge for that versus Ishimori. That would be magical.
Absolutely. All right. So next, we have our main event. Usually I'm pissed off, by the way, when Great-O-Khan loses. I'm like, really? Again? This is one of those times where I'm like, he lost, but I'm like, yeah.
He was literally chasing the guy around with the belt.
Yeah.
So, he's probably going after the belt.
Yeah. All right, sure. I don't mind a mix of heavy junior stuff as well, but at some point it'd be nice to see some juniors do some silly step stuff. I can imagine some heel going, no leg submission match against Robbie Eagles, something like that. Now Robbie's got to win without doing any thing to anyone's legs, like something like that would be fun. But
Can't
we have
even
our
do the Dick Cavett special. Can't even do it.
That's right. Dick Cavett. Very, very, very cool. We're doing talk show hosts now. It's the Johnny Carson special. All right.
That's right.
I won't use all them up now.
I mean, he can't do the Ed McMahon special either, which is just laughing.
All right. I reckon he could do the maybe the Craig Ferguson special though. That's probably a lot of drugs and cocaine. Fuck you. He was my favorite, and I'll stand.
He's never made me laugh one time, and I don't understand it. You know, I like the skeleton guy. He had a little buried skeleton.
Yeah, he did.
You know, in studio.
Balls.
Which I appreciate that, but like that was about it, man.
It was made by the Mythmakers guys, Mythbusters dudes as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Making the myths.
That's right. And he had Doctor Who cast members on there all the time, so you know he was a fan.
Just like New Japan. New Japan guys making the myths all the time.
That's right. Oh, thank you. Yep. All right. So our main event is we have TMDK. It's Kosei Fujita. It is Shane Haste. It is Mikey Nichols. Good for them in the main event. And Zack Sabre Jr. versus, holy shit,
the surprise, right?
Tomohiro Ishii and Okada. I'll do the order they come out in because it's pretty cool. Ishii comes out. Moxley comes out. And I'm just like, I mean, I know you're on the same team, but can you just wrestle each other?
We don't know that, though, at first.
No, we don't know.
They just get announced, and then the announcer says, in the blue corner, Moxley, and you're like, oh, fuck, once he's in the ring. So at first we're like, oh, fuck, it's going to be these two against each other? Oh, shit.
Because TMDK come out second because they want this to be a bit of a surprise. So we got
carefully done here. You know?
Yeah, Ishii, then Moxley, then Okada, and then motherfucking Bryan Danielson. Wow.
I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. I mean, last year they did the same thing with Kenny Omega. It was so successful and so it felt so great. This was a perfect opportunity to do that again.
Hey boys, why don't you just stay an extra night? It'll be just be a tag match, and hey, get an extra payday. Why not? Fuck yeah.
You get to sleep in a little too.
Yeah. So yes, this is. Does the match even matter? It's just a fucking awesome time. Just seeing Ishii, Mox, Okada, and Bryan on the same team, just chilling out and kicking ass together. It's like one of those dream teams you never think you'll see. Mostly because like part of me is like I'd rather see them wrestle against each other, but for this, I'm into it. It's really well done. And something happens in this match I don't expect because I'm like, oh, well, I messaged you straight away. Well, the fucking other team's losing, aren't they? And then we find out it's Team DK, and I'm still like, nah, man, they're fucked. Like, look at these guys. They've all been world champions. Like, what the fuck? Except for Ishii, I guess. Mind you, if you held the Never title, you might as well be a world champion for me. What are you doing with that tie, Mr. Guy? Anyway, I haven't been that fidgety today, so it's all you today. No one can see that, but I can. Got my eyes on you. But, okay. Very funny, smart guy. If I could work out how to do that without turning it off, I probably still wouldn't because I'd be scared of turning it off. Turn his camera off, everyone. Anyway, I'm thinking, all right, it's going to be a cool main event, but the Team DK's fucked. They're not winning. But then I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Vegeta wipes out Okada. He does the tope on him. And Ishii gets the double team. It's always Ishii gets pinned in these situations, by the way. Ishii gets the TMDK highway to ACDC double team move on him, and Haste pins Ishii. And after the match, they're all fucking like stepping up to each other and shit. And Vegeta gets on the fucking mic. I think Zack Sabre Jr. does as well. But Vegeta gets on the mic and he's like, "Hey, Okada, me, Haste, and Mikey want them fucking stank belts off you guys."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, please. And what does Okada say as soon as some young boy tells him something? He's just like, you're a speck of dust on my anus. Go fuck yourself. Pretty much. And then Vegeta's like, fine, Mom. If you say no, I'm going to ask my dad. Hey,
exactly.
Tanahashi. I see you over there on commentary. You're the president now. Even if you weren't the president, you could still make this match by agreeing to it.
That was
Also,
great.
Ishii got pinned, so you can't say no. So I like that. I like that it wasn't Zack Sabre Jr. in that trio. I think he's got better things to do. No offense to the other three, but he does. So yeah, fun show. I'm into some of the stuff. It doesn't 100% hit for me, but I'm into more of it than I'm not. So fair cop.
Yeah, I love that main event. That main event was awesome. And there is a part in this main event that might be the best part of this whole week of wrestling. It's Zack Sabre Jr. and Daniel Bryan rolling around. And oh my God, it's like some of the best wrestling you ever see. Normally, when you have two guys rolling around and they're just going to call it, they're just going to like not call it, they're just going to do it, without kind of preparing. There's a little hesitation. There's a moment to think. These two are, I mean, it is just some of the best wrestling I've ever seen in my life. Like, I had more than one person send me, the Instagram post of that this morning going, hey, did you see this? And I'm like, yeah, I fucking saw that. Kidding me? Like, unbelievable shit in that main event, just between those two alone, let alone everybody else. The interactions between Fujita and Okada are just golden. So much fun. Now, Luke, after the show, we did have some backstage comments that I want to fill you in on. Okay, so we had a post-match comment from Okada. And they asked him, hey, so you're going to give Fujita a shot at the stank belts? And he's like, well, you see in New Japan, the wrestlers don't make the matches. It's the people upstairs. So we'll have to ask them. That's what he said. Which is great.
Oh, what a dick.
Brian Danielson was backstage comments, and he opens the old chestnut about who is the best technical wrestler, in fact. He also says that Zack Sabre Jr. is a coward, and he has no fighting spirit. So that's a match that's going to happen at some point. Moxley is doing his backstage comments, but he's interrupted by this motherfucker who's a dragon. Shingo interrupts him, and in English, Shingo's like, hey, my name's Shingo. How are you? Would you like to wrestle me? Because I kind of want to do your extreme wrestling type of wrestling. And Moxley's like, yeah, I picked the stipulation. So I believe at Valley Battles, it will be Shingo versus John Moxley in a whatever the fuck John Moxley wants rules match. So
I don't care. Just hook that up to my veins. Yes, please. Fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Oh my God, I just found that out now. Yeah.
That's good, right?
Live reactions, everyone. Watch the
other one, TMDK, they do their fun-loving backstage routine, and they say they're going to win. Zack Sabre Jr. calls Daniel Bryan a dickhead, and he says that his New Year's resolution is not to say a certain curse word, and I think it's see you next Tuesday. Pretty sure it's that.
Yeah, but that's sorry, you've still got me reeling from the fucking. All right, Shingo Mox. Yeah, man, I want it. Yes, give it to me. Thank you for being the.
You're welcome.
Good news.
In New Japan Pro Wrestling, not only do the wrestlers not make the matches, but podcasters make the matches, and you're welcome.
By the way, if you can just open your jacket up just a little bit for those watching the YouTubes. Hey, look, Mr. Guy's in a Never Open t-shirt. Look at that gigantic Never Open title logo on there. It is gnarly.
Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of me blowing my whistle to get the camera on the damn thing. God damn it. But yes, I have the t-shirt that you can buy at the Teespring store located in the thing below the other thing.
That's right. That's right. You'll find the Teespring below hat spring and above underwear spring. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, man. We've gone for a while. Do we want a diary today?
Yes.
You sure do.
We must
Fuck yeah,
end
that's the right
the
answer.
Wrestle Kingdom Spectacular with a wrestler diary from my favorite wrestler, please.
All right, everyone. We have a wrestler diary here sent by a good listener, Jay. And it is a diary from Hiroki Goto. And why does my email thing just keep closing on me? Don't do that.
Brah.
I know, brah. Better stay there now. All right. If it crashes again, then we're not getting a diary. I'm sorry, and I'll just lift my top up or something. That'll get the viewers. It is episode 420. Overthrow intruder. And he's looking. Actually, he looks kind of adorable in a hard hat. Wow. I don't think I ever would have used that to describe Goto before, but there we go.
No, I don't believe it.
It is dated November 14th, 2023. All right, let's do it. Oh, it's also episode 420. That's enough for a fucking book, New Japan. Hook me up.
Big fucking stoner, Goto. You know?
That's right.
Always smoking the weed.
You see how he starts this? All right, I'll do it properly. Hello, everyone. I was able to return to the ring at the recent Anjo tournament. The last preparation I needed before my return match was a ninja massage. What the fuck?
That's where they sneak up on you. Like, you don't know when the massage is coming. You just, like, all of a sudden you're getting massaged, like, out of nowhere, like in the dark.
And you get a pretty decent back massage by getting smoke pellets thrown on your back or something.
That's right.
During my absence, my life was a daily routine of treatment, rehabilitation, and chores at home. I didn't feel like I was really living. The ring is where I live. My life when I'm recovering doesn't really feel like I'm living. I'm just trying to do the things I can, like cleaning my room. Okay. Hiroki Goto, you clean your room this instant.
That is tremendous.
Honestly, fucking 14. I rarely clean, but once I start, I want it to be perfect. I organize my belongings and vacuum the floor. Seeing the room transformed in front of my eyes made me feel satisfied. When suddenly, it's a big fly! It came into my room because I had the window open. The fly is reacting to the light in the room, buzzing and buzzing and buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. The warrior of chaos versus a big fly. Did you watch fucking... Has this motherfucker decided, like, hey, I just watched that episode of Breaking Bad. Oh my God, I turned it into a diary.
Yeah, and he's been up for 3 days doing methamphetamine.
That's right.
Makes sense.
The warrior of chaos versus a big fly. Let the battle begin. I turn off the light in the room so that the flies don't move around. It was evening, but the room was still bright enough to see even with the light off. As I had planned, the flies stopped flying around and perched on the ceiling. The battle was settled quite easily. I slowly and quietly moved the vacuum cleaner closer to the fly perched on the ceiling and switched it on. The fly was sucked into the vacuum cleaner.
What? This is
his diary entries. He's beating old man in saunas and kicking flies' asses.
He can't handle any kind of disturbance around him. You know what I mean? Like anything like that, he's got to use some device to fuck it up.
Mr. Guy, Hiroki Goto is back, baby. Oh my God. When you put your ear close to it, you can hear a buzzing sound coming from inside the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, because it's alive. That's like, he is brutal to all. Like, can you imagine how cruel he is to Yoshihashi? He's that cruel to insects he doesn't even know. I'm just saying.
Oh my God. Oh, it's too cruel to leave it like this, so I let it go. I put the vacuum cleaner out of the upstairs window Come on, get out. I'm being far too kind to this beast. And then, what are you doing? Huh? I looked towards the voice and saw my daughter, who was in first year of middle school, looking at me amused with their friends. Oh no, they saw me doing something strange. I gotta fly, I replied meekly. I think she might start ignoring me.
Yeah.
I'm hungry for the next fight. I'm a person who loves to fight. I'm aiming for a third consecutive victory in Yuchan in World Tag League. And
You know, when Goto starts talking about wrestling, I'm uninterested. You know what I mean? When he's talking about anything else, like morphing into a fly or his like teenage daughter, which I am simpatico with his teenage daughter. We're like the same person. You know what I mean? Because she's always Josh and Goto. I'm always Josh and Goto. It's the same. We're the same person, just on different sides of the planet. And I respect the shit out of her.
Yep, me too. Oh, oh my God. I'm sorry. I feel like that broke me. I just.
Let's go. Let's go.
He knows how to turn some everyday shit into some gold, and
he does. He's very good at Diaries, man. He's an excellent writer, or he's hired someone who might be his teenage daughter.
That's it might be
because she's smarter than him and better than him in every way.
Daughter, can you? I don't know her name. Can you fix this up for me? Reads about 5 lines and just.
Can you imagine?
Takes the gist of the story and just see, I will do this. That was her.
Goto. She wrote that. Goto fucking sitting there, and he's like, well, let me see here. And he, I hate to ask, but can you help me? That's Goto every time. He has to do anything that involves a computer. And because he's old, you see.
That's right.
Joke.
That's right. That's
Luke.
He's like me in that respect.
This is our big week of the year. Every time. What did you think? Were you happy overall with the results? How does this rank in comparison to other weeks we've experienced covering Wrestle Kingdom? What did you think?
This is our first full roster of Wrestle Kingdom. Like, I know your last year's kind of was, but now we've got the juniors kind of back up and up on track. Like, there is a junior division now, when there wasn't for ages. I don't know, I feel like it was a good show. I really enjoyed it. You know how, like, a lot of WWE fans might be like, I like WWE, and then WrestleMania happens and they're like, they don't like their big show of the year. I'm not like that. Everything didn't go my way. I'm not happy with the Tam and stuff and all these other little things. But, man, Brian Okada was fucking magical. Sonata and Naito, their story is, they're against each other, but they're friends, and I want to see more of what this goes. Match quality was pretty dang good, and they pulled it off. New website, new way of watching it. Didn't really fuck up too terribly that anyone cares too much about, and if they do, fuck off. So yeah, I think this was a success. What do you think? How do you feel?
I really liked it. I'm really sad it's over. Really sad it's over. I don't usually get like that, but like today we were about to record this. We had some technical difficulties, and I was just
sorry.
Well, it's just a thing that happened, and it just kind of made me like have to sit and think for a minute and think, oh, well, this is over. I go back to work on Monday. It's just, I don't know, man. Like it like Wrestle Kingdom to me is always like the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is the last game of the year for football, but it's the championship. Like everyone always looks at it as the championship, but I always look at it as the last game of the year. It means it's over, and so I always, Wrestle Kingdom I'm usually looking forward to. This year felt very like definitive. It felt like, to me it was like, that's never going to see Wrestle Kingdom 18 again live, am I? It just felt a little bit like that. So I was really trying to cherish every moment. And this time of year for me is like, it's like, if it wasn't for you and it wasn't people that were listening to that listen to us and stuff, this would be a very solitary endeavor for me. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful that it's not. So I guess that would be the way to kind of wrap up my thoughts about Wrestle Kingdom this year.
Agreed. I agree. By the way, I love New Japan, but you probably noticed this, but in case our listeners might not have caught on yet, if you've ever seen Doctor Who, I am like the companion Tegan. I might have a bit of a whine and a complain, but then you ask me at the end what I thought, and I'm like, yeah, I had a good time. But I just listened to you fucking, shut the fuck up. Like, that's how she was when she was traveling with the doctor. She's like, you're an idiot. Why are we here? This place is fucked. Let's go. And then you realize, like, she loved it the whole time. So I can be a bit like that. So it's not my intention to kind of be like steal anyone's thunder or anything like that. But at the end, it was just good. It was just good, and not just good. Some of it was absolutely epic and magical, and had the pageantry that we like. When the commentators shut the fuck up, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah,
I wish it was longer. You know, like honestly,
like 2 days.
Like 2 more hours would have been cool with me. I was prepped. I was ready, man. Like, I was ready for like a 7-hour show, and it was like 5.5. And I was like, hey, okay. But I wouldn't be mad if they went back to the 7-hour, one Wrestle Kingdom day. I'm definitely not into the 2-day thing.
No, me neither.
It was also nice for me because Wrestle Kingdom started at 1:30 a.m. and then the New Year Dash didn't start till 4 a.m. the next day, which was like, whew, thank you.
I feel like all you want to do after Wrestle Kingdom is chill out with some wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, that's the big show. Now, just relax a bit.
Yeah. Well, I was just thankful that they gave us, us in the United States a little, little breather. Yeah, I mean, like, getting up at 3:30 in the morning is way different than getting up at like 12:45. That's way different. You know what I mean? So, like, that's gonna fuck your week up a whole different way, and you gotta like prepare for it. So, I think I did pretty good this year with the sleep. I don't feel too, crazy or anything right now. Maybe just a little emotional, but that's what Wrestle Kingdom week does for us. So,
fuck yeah! Oh my goodness! And yeah. See, we had the technical difficulties, and it was 20 minutes, and every minute it was just like, all right, I should tell Andy maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But I was like, I want to do it fucking tonight. I want to talk to fucking Andy about Wrestle Kingdom and celebrate Wrestle Kingdom on the fucking podcast. So god damn it. I'm glad you were patient enough and waited. And we haven't had a single hitch since, which I'm very relieved about. So yeah, no, nothing but, oh man, doing this show is a joy. And I'm a bit rambly because it's near the end, and I'm always like this near the end because it's over. Who do we trust this week? Oh yeah, we do the thing. All right, so unless Mr. Guy has something that he'd like to add. Hey, there it is. Fuck it was pretty solidly booked. In Gato, we trust.
He hit that sweet low blow on Will Ospreay. That was fucking awesome. So